A service of KIBMradio.com, the Internet's home for an all old-time radio.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. On this Christmas Eve, once again, Lionel Barrymore steps aside his role as mayor of the town to take you back to a Christmas Eve 100 years ago with his unforgettable portrayal of Scrooge. And now, Lionel Barrymore in Dickens' A Christmas Carol. Once upon a Christmas Eve, on a mean and shabby street in London, stood the warehouse of Scrooge and Marley. Marley was 7 years dead, but Scrooge never bothered to paint out the name. It was a waste of time, paint, and money. Oh, he was a tight-fisted hand at the grindstone, was Ebenezer Scrooge, a squeezing, grasping, clutching, covetous old sinner. A frosty rime was on his head and on his eyebrows and on his wiry chin. And the cold within him iced his office in the dog days and didn't thaw it out 1 degree at Christmas. A fact that could be attested by Bob Cratchit, his overworked and shivering clerk.
And what do you think you're about to do with that coal scuttle, Mr. Cratchit?
Well, you see, my stove's gone out, Mr. Scrooge.
Indeed.
It was a very small fire to begin with, sir.
Tell me, Mr. Cratchit, you like working here?
Oh, yes, indeed, sir.
And you have need of the 15 bob I pay you every week?
Need? Oh, yes, indeed, sir. You see, there's my wife, and Tiny Tim, and Belinda, and Martha, and...
Well, then may I suggest you forget the fire and get back to your work? Unless, of course, you would prefer to keep Christmas by losing your situation.
Losing? Oh, no, sir. I'll get on with copying those letters at once, sir. I'm very sorry, Mr. Scrooge. It won't happen again, sir. I promise you.
And chase that blasted little sweep away from the door. Christmas Carol.
Yes, no wind that blew was bitterer than Ebenezer Scrooge. No pelting rain less open to entreaty. And what did Scrooge think of Christmas? Well, on this particular Christmas Eve, his only nephew, Fred, stopped by the warehouse to see him.
Merry Christmas, Uncle. God save you.
Humbug.
Christmas a humbug? Oh, come now. You don't mean that.
I do. Merry Christmas. What right have you to be merry? You're poor enough.
Very well, then. What right have you to be dismal? You're rich enough.
Humbug.
Oh, don't be cross, Uncle.
What else can I be when I live in such a world of fools as this? Merry Christmas. Out upon Merry Christmas. What's Christmas time to you but a time for paying bills without money? Time for finding yourself a year older and not an hour richer. A time for balancing your books and having every item in them through a round dozen of months presented dead against you.
Uncle.
Yeah. If I had my way, every idiot who goes about with Merry Christmas on his lips would be boiled with his own pudding and buried with a stake of holly through his heart.
Uncle.
Nephew, keep Christmas in your own way and let me keep it in mine.
But you don't keep it.
Well, let me leave it alone, then. Much good may it do you. Much good it ever has done you.
Oh, I've derived good from many things by which I haven't profited. And Christmas is one of them.
Yeah.
I've always thought of Christmas as a good time. A kind, forgiving, charitable, pleasant time. The only time in the long calendar of the year when people open their shut-up hearts and think of their fellow men.
Humbug.
And therefore, although it has never put a scrap of gold or silver in my pocket, I believe that it has done me good and will do me good. And I say, God bless it.
You're a very powerful speaker, sir. I wonder you don't go into Parliament.
Oh, don't be angry, Uncle. Come and dine with us tomorrow.
Good afternoon, nephew.
But why won't you?
Good afternoon.
Well, I'm sorry to find you so resolute. But a Merry Christmas, Uncle.
Good afternoon.
And a Happy New Year.
Good afternoon.
No, Scrooge didn't believe for a moment that Christmas was a kind and charitable time. He proved it that very same afternoon when two gentlemen stopped at his warehouse to collect his Christmas donation to the poor.
At this festive season of the year, Mr. Scrooge, it is more than usually desirable that we should make some slight provision for the poor and destitute.
Indeed. Tell me, are there no prisons?
Oh, plenty of prisons.
And the workhouses, are they still in operation?
They are, although I wish I could say they were not.
The treadmill and the poor law, are they still in full vigor?
Both very busy, sir.
Very well, then. What do you want of me?
A few of us are endeavoring to raise a fund to buy the poor some meat and drink and means of warmth. Now, what shall we put you down for?
Nothing.
Oh, you wish to be anonymous.
I wish to be left alone.
Mr. Scrooge.
I don't make myself merry at Christmas, and I can't afford to make a lot of idle people merry. I help support the prisons and the workhouses. They cost enough, heaven knows. And those who are badly off they can go there.
But many can't go there, and many would rather die than go there.
Well, if they'd rather die, they'd better go and do it. And decrease the surplus population. Besides, I find it quite enough for a man to mind his own business and not interfere with other people's. Mine occupies me constantly. Good afternoon, gentlemen. Good afternoon.
It was cold and dark when Scrooge left the ancient warehouse. The fog was so thick that he had some difficulty in locating the lowering pile of building where he had a gloomy suite of rooms. Since Marley's death, no one lived there but Scrooge. Then, as he put his key in the lock of the door, a strange thing happened.
That door knocker. I could have sworn it was Marley's face. The humbug.
Scrooge entered, then locked and double-locked the door behind him. He wasn't a man to be frightened by a door knocker.
Humbug.
He lit his candle and started up the stairs, his footsteps echoing through the quiet house.
What's that? Who's there?
What was that noise deep down below in the cellar, as if somebody were dragging a heavy chain?
What's that?
The sound grew louder on the cellar stairs, rose higher in the empty halls below, and then clanged and clattered on the stairs behind Scrooge as he fled.
That's humbug. Don't believe it.
Then, as though a part of the fog outside, the ghost of Jacob Marley passed through the closed and locked door.
Ebenezer.
Who are you?
In life, I was your partner, Jacob Marley.
What do you want?
Much. Oh, much, Ebenezer.
Be gone. Well, I don't believe in you.
Why do you doubt your senses?
Oh, because a little thing affects him. A very slight disorder of the stomach makes him cheat. Well, you may be an undigested bit of beef, or a blot of mustard, a crumb of cheese, or a fragment of underdone potato. There's more gravy than grave about you. Please don't do that. Don't do that. I beg of you.
Oh, man of worldly mind, do you believe in me or not?
I do. It'll make you any happier, Jacob. I do. But why do spirits walk the earth? Why do you come to me?
It is required of every man that the spirit within him should walk abroad among his fellow men.
Yes, Jacob, yes.
And if that spirit goes not forth in life, it is condemned to do so after death.
But why must you wear that heavy chain? That chain of cash boxes and keys and padlocks and ledgers and deeds and swollen purses.
It is the one I forged in life. I made it link by link and yard by yard.
But why should you be so accursed? You were always a good man of business, Jacob.
Business? Mankind was my business. The common welfare was my business. Charity, mercy, forbearance were all my business.
Jacob.
Hear me.
I will now.
You may still have a chance and hope of escaping my fate.
Thank you, Jacob. Thank you.
You will be haunted by 3 spirits.
3, Jacob?
Receive them. And for your own sake, remember what has passed between us.
Jacob, wait now. Don't leave me, Jacob, please.
Look to see me no more. Farewell, Ebenezer.
Jacob, wait. Jacob!
Ebenezer Scrooge.
Huh? Oh. Who are you?
I am the ghost of Christmas past. Rise and walk with me.
Walk? In my slippers? And dressing gown and nightcap?
Come, we will leave by the window.
Oh, no. That's all very well for spirits, but I'm only a mortal and liable to fall.
Bear but a touch of my hand thus on your heart, and you shall be upheld in more than this. Come, Ebenezer Scrooge. Look just below us, Ebenezer Scrooge. The city and the years have been left behind. Do you know this place?
Well, yes, of course I know it, Spirit. I was a boy here. See? There's my old school with the cupola and the bell hanging in it.
An ugly, lifeless place. It looks quite deserted.
It was Christmas Day. All the boys had gone home for the holiday.
All? Who is that lonely child left behind and chided for his tears by the schoolmaster?
I was that child, Spirit.
Calm now, Master Ebenezer. No tears, if you please. There's nothing more degrading than self-pity. Besides, Christmas isn't at all important.
A very wise man, the schoolmaster. Don't you agree, Ebenezer?
Oh, of course I don't agree. Why, Christmas is very important to a child of that age, Spirit. Poor boy, I wish... Oh, well, it's too late now.
What is it?
Oh, nothing much. There was a boy singing a Christmas carol outside my warehouse. I wish I'd given him something, that's all.
Yes? Come, let's see another Christmas. Now we are in the city, and that lonely boy is older. Do you know this warehouse, Ebenezer?
Know it? Of course I know it. I was apprentice here.
Were you happy?
Oh, yes. I was very happy, Spirit, very happy. My employer was a kind man, and... Well, why, bless his heart, there he is. It's old Fezziwig alive again.
You're home, lads. No more work tonight. Christmas
Christmas Eve, Nick. Christmas, Ebenezer. We're having a party tonight.
A party, Mr. Fezziwig?
Oh, who's invited?
The butcher, the baker, the milkman, the cook. Oh, here's the fiddler already. Clear away, lads, clear away. Come, Master Fiddler, unlimber your fingers and give us something for dancing with plenty of life in it. Christmas Eve, you know, the best time of the year. God bless it.
A very simple and foolish man, old Fezziwig, with no head at all for business, Ebenezer Scrooge.
Nonsense, Spirit. Why, he was one of the greatest men alive.
Indeed?
I only wish...
Yes?
Oh, nothing. I was just thinking of my own clerk, Bob Cratchit, that's all.
Strange. But my time grows short, and there is one more place we must visit. Come, come. Look about you, Ebenezer Scrooge. That man and woman so busy wrapping up Christmas gifts for children. Do you know them?
I know the woman, yes. We were to have been married. But she felt we weren't suited to each other.
Didn't she release you from your promise because another idol had displaced her? A golden idol?
Yes, she said something like that. Yes.
Great pity. Listen, they speak.
There, darling, I think that'll do if you'll tie the ribbon. Oh, by the way, I saw an old friend of yours this afternoon, although he didn't see me.
Who was it?
Can't you guess?
Was it Mr. Scrooge?
Mr. Scrooge it was. I passed his office window and I could see him inside.
Poor Ebenezer.
His partner lies at the point of death, I hear. And there Scrooge sat alone, quite alone in the whole world, I do believe.
He's a very rich man, but he has so little. No friends, no children, no one to love him at Christmas time. He must be so unhappy. And I feel very sorry for him.
Spirit, remove me from this place.
Not yet. Oh, not yet, Ebenezer Scrooge. You have seen the past. Now prepare yourself to meet the spirit of Christmas present.
Where are you? Don't leave me alone.
Be not afraid, Ebenezer Scrooge. Behold in me the spirit of Christmas present.
The place is strange. Where are we?
There below us lies Camden Town.
Oh, Camden Town. Ah, that's where my clerk, Bob Cratchit, lives.
Yes, it is he we visit. See, there below us is the street and house we seek. Not a pretty setting, is it?
Well, no. It isn't exactly palatial. But it probably serves its purpose. After all, he's only a clerk, you know.
Ah, yes. And with so many mouths to feed, it's doubtless the best he can afford. Come, we will go in.
Oh, the gravy, good heavens, I nearly forgot the gravy. Here, Belinda, you watch the applesauce.
Yes, Mother.
Martha, you dust off the hot plate.
I will.
And Joseph and Thomas can start setting the chairs at the table.
Yes, Mother. Yes, Mother.
I don't see what's keeping your father and Tiny Tim.
Well, perhaps the church service is extra long.
10 minutes more and the goose will fall apart. And the pudding will be overdone.
Oh, no.
Here they come now. They're just turning the corner.
Tiny Tim's riding on Father's shoulder.
Oh,
thank heavens. Open the door, Father, Belinda.
Yes, Mother.
Get in, Strawberry.
Oh, Buzz, now. This is a wild horse with a black mane. He gallops and prances and runs like the wind. Hi-ho. Merry Christmas, everybody.
Merry Christmas, everybody.
Hi-ho. Down you come. There. Joseph, Thomas, take him off and get those hands clean for dinner.
Come on, Tiny Tim. Just wait till you see what's in the oven. There never was such a bird.
Now, don't waste any time. Everything's ready. How did he behave in church, Father?
Oh, as good as gold and better.
You know, somehow he gets thoughtful sitting by himself so much. Thinks of the strangest things you ever heard.
I know.
He told me coming home that he hoped that people saw him in church because he was a cripple. And it might be pleasant for them to remember upon Christmas Day who made lame beggars walk and blind men see.
Poor boy. Poor boy.
Why are there tears in your eyes, Ebenezer Scrooge?
Cratchit never told me the boy was lame.
He has worn that iron brace and carried that little crutch ever since he can remember. Quiet. They gather at the table.
A toast. A toast to the founder of the feast. I give you Mr. Scrooge.
The founder of the feast, indeed. I wish I had him here. I'd give him a piece of my mind to feast upon.
My dear, Christmas Day.
Well, I'll drink his health for your sake and the day's, not for his.
And a Merry Christmas to us all, my dears. God bless us.
God bless us.
And what do you say, Tiny Tim?
God bless us, everyone.
Come, Ebenezer Scrooge. My time is up. You must go to meet the third and last spirit.
Wait, spirit. Please, wait. And tell me this before you leave me.
Yes?
Tell me, will Tiny Tim live?
I see a vacant seat and a crutch without the owner.
Oh, now, don't say that.
If these shadows remain unaltered by the future, the child must die.
Oh, Spirit, no.
Will it not be better if he does? As you once said, it will decrease the surplus population.
Spirit.
Farewell, Ebenezer. The ghost of Christmas yet to come awaits you.
Where am I? What place is this? So dark and cold and thick with fog? And who are you, dark phantom with the hidden face? I fear you more than any of the others. Are you the ghost of Christmas yet to come? But this is a burial ground, neglected and overgrown with grass and weeds, the resting place of those forgotten and unloved. Why do you point to that stone? What name is written there that I must read? The letters are too dim and the fog's too heavy. Tell me, Spirit, who rests in this lonely, untended earth?
You are that man, Ebenezer Scrooge.
No, Spirit, no.
You are that man.
Spirit, hear me. I'm not the man I was. I'll not be the man I must have been but for this night. I will honor Christmas in my heart and try to keep it all the year. Hear me, Spirit. Hear me and tell me I may sponge away the writing on that terrible stone. Spirit, hear me. Spirit. But you're not a spirit at all. You're my own bedpost. That isn't any graveyard. This is my own room. And there's the door where I saw Marley's ghost. And there's the window where the first bit. Why, it's broad daylight. No fog, no mist. It's a beautiful, sunny, glorious day. And people on the street all dressed in their best. And church bells, too. Must be Sunday. Oh, boy! Boy, you down there?
Yes, sir?
What day's today, my fine fella?
What day? Why, this is Christmas Day, of course.
Christmas Day! Christmas Day! Then I haven't missed it. The spirits have done it all in one night. Hello down there.
Yes, sir?
Did you know the poultry shop at the corner?
I should hope so, sir.
An intelligent boy. A remarkable boy. So tell me, do you know if they sold the prize turkey?
The little one?
No. The great big prize turkey.
Oh, it's hanging there right now.
Go and tell them to bring it here. Yes, sir. Come back with a man and I'll give you a shilling. Come back in less than 5 minutes, you'll get half a crown.
Yes, sir.
Look at him run. I'll send it off to Bob Cratchit. And he shan't know who sent it. What a joke it'll be. Why, it's twice the size of Tiny Tim. Now, let me see. I'd better get dressed. I've so much to do, and it's going to be a busy day. Yes, sir, a very busy day.
And it was a busy day. Ebenezer Scrooge was out observing Merry Christmas in the merriest way. And he looked so delighted that people just couldn't resist speaking to him.
Merry Christmas, Mr. Scrooge.
Merry Christmas.
Yes, and he stopped to pat children on the head.
Hello, son. Merry Christmas, my dear.
And gave shillings to beggars.
God bless you, Mr. Scrooge.
And he even went calling on his nephew. And his nephew's wife kissed him. Oh, he had a wonderful time and a wonderful Christmas. The morning after Christmas, he was early at the office. Scrooge wanted to be there first, and he wanted to catch Bob Cratchit coming in late.
Well, Mr. Cratchit, so you finally got here, did you? Look at that clock. What do you mean by coming here this time of day?
I'm very sorry, Mr. Scrooge. It won't happen again, sir.
Indeed it shan't. Indeed it shan't. Step over here to my desk, if you please.
It's only once a year, sir.
A poor sort of excuse, Mr. Cratchit. And I'm not going to stand for this sort of thing any longer. And therefore, I'm about to raise your salary.
What was that, sir?
A Merry Christmas, Bob. A Merry Christmas that I've given you for many a year. I'll raise your salary and endeavor to assist your struggling family. Now make up both fires and buy a larger coal scuttle before you dot another I, Bob Cratchit.
And Scrooge was even better than his word. He did it all and infinitely more. And to Tiny Tim, who did not die, he was a second father. He became as good a friend and as good a man as the good old city ever knew, or any other good old city, town, or borough in the good old world. And it was always said of him that he knew how to keep Christmas well, if any man alive possessed the knowledge. May that be truly said of us, and all of us.
And so, as Tiny Tim observed, God bless us, everyone.
United States Armed Forces Radio Service, the voice of information and education.
It's 8:30.
It's 8:30, New York time. Time to wake up America and stump the experts. Each week at this time, Lucky Strike's board of wise men challenges the nation to a test of wit and wisdom. You provide the questions, and our experts try to answer them. Remember, for every question used, Lucky Strike will give you not only $10 in war stamps, but a set of the 12-volume Britannica Junior Encyclopedia. If the question is muffed, you get the Junior Britannica plus a $50 war bond plus a 24-volume set of the regular Encyclopedia Britannica. Send your questions to Information, please, 480 Lexington Avenue, New York City. If our editorial staff edits your questions a bit, don't fret over it. In case of similarity, we'll have to be sole judge of who shall be paid, and all questions become the property of Information, please. Now light up a Lucky Strike as I present our Master of Ceremonies, book reviewer of the New Yorker magazine, Clifton Fadiman. Mr. Fadiman.
Thank you, Mr. Cross. Ladies and gentlemen, on this Christmas night, Information, please, wishes all its listeners as happy a Christmas as these times may permit, and looks forward to another Christmas when peace, and not a negotiated peace, will rejoice our hearts. Tonight we celebrate in our own quiet way with our usual unrehearsed program, offering our brace of veterans, Franklin P. Adams and John Kieran. And by the way, almost 5 years of Information, please, have so broadened Mr. Kieran's mind that a new career is opening up before him. Beginning January 4th, he will run a daily column in the New York Sun, writing on things in general, from bees to battleships. Congratulations, John. And tonight, our guests are 2 in number: James Wallace, judge of the Court of General Sessions, and secondly, our old friend, Leon Henderson. And now, gentlemen, we'll begin with a question from John T. Matthews of La Porte, Texas. And it's about American events and personalities of the day before yesterday. Oh, well, several days before yesterday, as a matter of fact, because the first question is, who was the first Cyrano de Bergerac? Who played it first in this country? Well, you have to go back quite a way. Mr. Adams.
I think Richard Mansfield.
Richard Mansfield is absolutely right. What were you going to say, Mr. Kieran?
I was going to be very wrong.
Oh, what were you?
I was going to say Walter Hampton. He was the first one I saw. But I'll tell you who played it first in France, Popin.
Yes, and he had a naturally long nose, didn't he? He didn't have to build it up.
I didn't know the gentleman.
Where did Steve Brody take a chance? Judge Wallace.
On the Brooklyn Bridge.
Off the Brooklyn Bridge. Quite right. And what was Anna Hell's most popular song? Anna Hell's... Oh, we have several elderly hands on this. Elderly hands, as a matter of fact. Mr. Adams?
Won't you come and play with me?
I just can't make my eyes behave.
I think that's the one, Judge. Just can't make my eyes behave. Oh, wasn't there another one? It's delightful to be married. Do you remember that, Judge?
It wasn't Anna's, I don't think.
Yes, it was.
Mm-hmm. Well,
it wasn't one of the ones that made her popular.
Maybe not with you, Judge. But that gives us 3 out of 3. How about this one from E.R. Slade of Ansonia, Connecticut? I want you to quote a line of poetry, or better still, sing a song that mentions a gift that you might have given or received for Christmas. But we'll try to let's have 3 of them. Sing a song that mentions, you can get together on this and sort of collaborate. Collude is the word, Mr. Kieran?
All of me, why not take all of me?
We might say love sends a little gift of roses.
Oh, that's very pretty, Mr. Adams.
Any bonds today?
Any bonds today, or just my bill on some Christmas. And you can think of any others, Mr. Henderson? Yeah, gift that you might have received?
One dozen roses.
Well, I know a beautiful song if they know it.
1,000 roses, wrap my heart up inside them and send them to the one I love.
Oh, boy. I've never known the Office of Price Administration to do better, Mr. Henderson. Mr. Kieran?
Take back your gold,
for gold can never buy me. Take back your bribe and promise to be true. Give me your love, the love that you denied me. Make me your wife, that's all I ask of you.
That's a wonderful Christmas poem, Judge. Marvelous. And now here's one from Mrs. G.M. Crisp of West Asheville, North Carolina. I'm going to read some news flashes, 3 of them. Tell me what's wrong about them. Here's the first. Listen carefully. Augusta, Maine, November 6, 1942. The whole state ticket was triumphantly re-elected in yesterday's elections. Judge Wallace?
What was that date, please?
November 6, 1942.
The whole state ticket was not triumphantly elected in that.
Why? Mr. Adams?
Because the main elections do not come on November 5th.
Yes. When do they come?
September.
Yes, the main elections in September. We get what famous phrase?
As Maine goes, so goes the nation.
Is there anything in it, Mr. Henderson?
No.
Not until recently.
Well, that is what is wrong with the news flash. Now, here's another news flash. Listen carefully. New York, July 10th, 1942. The heavyweight crown passed today to the challenger, who was fouled by the title holder in the second round. Mr. Kieran?
Well, in the first place, it didn't
well, it's an imaginary. It's an imaginary
it can't
flash.
pass on a foul of that description, because the foul blow delivered in a round in New York State merely loses the fouler that round.
Yes. When was that rule established, Mr. Kieran?
That was established, I believe, after the Sharkey Schmeling fight.
Wasn't it during Jim Farley's regime as head of the boxing commission?
Right.
That's right.
Jim Farley put in, and a very good rule it is.
Boy, is the son lucky.
Now, here's another one. What's wrong with this? This should appeal to you, Judge. The legislature has passed a bill reducing the salary of the judges of the Court of General Sessions. Information, please, is Christmas present to you.
That appeals to me very much. But unfortunately, or rather fortunately, the legislature cannot do that because the salaries of the judges of that court and the Supreme Court are protected by the Constitution of the state of New York.
I bet nobody could wipe that smile of satisfaction off his face.
Of course, that doesn't prevent them from taxing us.
I like that word, protected. I've heard that before.
How about this one, gentlemen, from Mrs. Dean McCall of Bound Brook, New Jersey. Sing, this definitely you have to sing. Sing 3 song favorites of the soldiers of the First World War, in each of which a girl's name is mentioned. Now, you ought to get together.
That her name wasn't mentioned.
No, her name wasn't mentioned.
Katie, beautiful Katie.
You got that too low, boy.
You're the only one
girl that I adore. When the moon shines over the cowshed, I'll be waiting at the kitchen door. But don't get down in the cellar, boy.
You can't raise up the judge. That gives us Katie and Mademoiselle, who undoubtedly had a name. Any other? Mr. Kieran?
Madelon. Madelon, Madelon.
Yes. That come back to you? Sure, and there were others. The Rose of No Man's Land, I suppose Rose is the
Rose
name.
of Picardy.
Sister Susie, Sewing Shirts and so forth. Any one of those. How about this one from Winifred Lyon of Kansas City, Missouri? I'm going to tell you something about 3 different girls. Each of them bested her male adversary, got the better of him.
That's pretty vague.
Well, I'll see if I can.
Maybe definite enough.
I'll make it more definite. And they also did other things. Now, the first one bested her male adversary and saved her country. Who was that? This is a character from history. Miss Kieran.
Charlotte Corday.
No.
Joan of Arc.
Joan of Arc, yes. Can you explain?
She lifted the siege of Orleans. I can't give you the date, though. Let's see.
Neither can I, Mr. Kieran.
Would you like a little incidental music here about Joan of Arc?
About the time Henry VI
well, it was
in England.
Yes, and Charles VII. And who she did what the war chiefs, the men of both the England and France, failed to do. Now, how about a gal who got the better of a male enemy or opponent and saved her client? Saved her client.
Shakespeare.
Mr. Henderson?
Character Portia.
Yes, Portia is right. In The Merchant of Venice, disguised as a lawyer, she outwitted Mr. Henderson. Whom? Whom did she outwit in The Merchant of Venice? Shylock, yes. And which girls helped save an old woman from a wolf? Apparently there's no age limit for some wolves. Mr. Kieran.
Little Red Riding Hood.
Yes, what's the story? How did she manage to do all this?
Saved her grandma eventually by summoning the wood choppers who chopped open the wolf and removed the grandmother by a major operation.
Yes, that's right. And now Mr. Rysdale points out the advantages for smokers who seize time by the forelock.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, here we are almost at the end of 1942. Perhaps during the past year you've been intending to try Lucky's, but then you've kept putting it off. If so, you may be missing something. For make no mistake, in a cigarette, it's the tobacco that counts. Better tobacco gives you a milder, better tasting, more enjoyable cigarette. And smokers, Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. That's worth remembering. Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. So round, so firm, so fully packed, so free and easy on the draw. For ladies and gentlemen, year after year, the same story comes out of the tobacco country. At auctions all over the South, the makers of Lucky's consistently select and buy the riper, lighter, milder leaf. Truly, Lucky Strike means fine tobacco. And certainly fine tobacco adds to your enjoyment. Mr. Fadiman, have I given good substantial reasons why smokers should seize time by the forelock and try Lucky's now?
Mr. Rysdale, your 60-second summary of the facts surely calls for prompt action. And now a question from Charles W. Hall of Kingston, Massachusetts. See, another singing question. The spirit of Christmas is certainly regnant around here this evening. How about singing for us, let's say 3 songs, about people who are missing or lost or gone away? For example, there's a song in Hamlet called Where, Oh, Where Has My True Love Gone? Now, can you think of 3 other songs and sing them for us about people who are gone or missing? Judge?
I wonder who's kissing her now. I wonder who's teaching her how. I wonder who's looking into her eyes, breathing sighs, telling lies. I wonder who's buying the wine, or lips that I once thought were mine. I wonder if she ever tells him of me. I wonder who's kissing her now.
Where's my little dog gone?
That was made perfect, by the way, by the silence of Miss Adams. Yes, Mr. Adams.
Where's my little dog gone? That doesn't come in there, I guess.
Yes, I think so.
Oh, where has my little dog gone? Oh, where can he be? With his ears cut long and his tail cut short. Oh, where can he be?
Thank you. Did that give us 3 missings? Mr.
No,
Adams?
my darling, you are lost and gone forever. Oh, my darling Clementine.
That's a very good one. For heaven's sake, don't sing that. Yes. Henderson, there's no way of stopping
we know it, but we won't
I know.
Well, there are ways to stop me.
There is also the little lost
Not
child.
on this program.
The little lost child.
Yes. Anybody here seen Kelly? Is one about somebody lost? Where's my wandering boy?
That isn't a lost girl.
I didn't say girl. You've just got girls on the brain. I said people. Just people.
Well, can't be Eddie Canada, can he?
Gentlemen. Try this one from Anita M. Lodico of Rochester, New York. Shall we get all on this? I think this is a very easy question. Complete the familiar line that begins as follows. When faith is lost, how does that go on? Mr. Kieran.
I think the man is dead or the soul is dead.
The man is dead.
The man is dead, and it was said about Daniel Webster.
That's right. By whom?
It was said by one of the New England poets.
Had a beard. Who was he?
Whittier, was
That's
it?
right. Whittier, yes.
Because he voted on a certain way that Whittier didn't like on a national issue in Congress.
That's right. When faith is lost, when honor dies, the man is dead, and Mr. Kieran's given us the complete story and completed the line for us. Now, how about this incomplete line? When lilacs last, how does that go on? Mr. Adams.
In the dooryard bloom.
Yes. Mr. Kieran?
By W. Whitman.
By W. Whitman. Can you give us the second line after that, the beautiful line? When lilacs last in the dooryard bloomed, and the great star early drooped in the night, I mourned, and yet shall mourn with ever-returning spring, one of Whitman's best-known poems. Now, how about the line that begins, when in doubt? When in doubt, Mr. Judge Wallace?
Put it out.
Put it out, yes, the dim-out warning. And Mr. Adams, in Hoyle there is a line that begins, when in doubt.
Play trumps.
Yes, win the trick. How about this? That gives us 3 out of 3. Margaret Levy of New York City sends this one in. Each of the songs that you're going to have played for you, by a pleasant contrast, is going to suggest a court action. What court action is suggested by this song? Let's have the first. Mr. Adams?
Well, that is an elopement.
What's it from?
It's from Pinafore.
And what's it describe?
The...
Elopement isn't a court action.
Well, that was an elopement.
I know, but you can't be arrested for an elopement, ordinarily.
Silently on...
Kidnapping.
Yes, and, well, what, it seems to me would be... Pardon?
Kidnapping.
Yes, theft, Mr. Henderson. Burglary or isn't larceny the right word, Judge?
Well, it all depends. If you break or enter a house, dwelling, or close, it would be burglary.
Yes,
merely pilfer.
Yes, carefully on tiptoe stealing. I think that's the one. Mr. Henderson caught it. Now the second one. Mr. Henderson, you have the song. What's the song called?
I hate to see the evening sun.
That's right. And it's Mr. Kieran?
Well, it would be price fixing.
How do you get that?
Well, I want to see something go down.
That's no court action.
Well, there isn't. As far as the
That's
newspapers are concerned, there is no price control on newspapers. Either the Evening Sun or just the Sun.
Well, I shouldn't think that would be the court action.
That Evening Sun, hire Kieran.
No, if you go through the lyrics of St. Louis Blues, got the St. Louis Blues, just blue as I can be. That man got a heart like a rock cast in the sea. What's the man done? What's the gal complaining of in the song?
Alienation of affection.
Well, desertion. He's deserted her. It seems to me that's the court action that would be suggested by that particular song, and that gives us one wrong. And now the third and last. I have all hands on this. Judge Wallace.
Well, that's Rufus Rastus Johnson Brown. What's he going to do when the rent comes around?
Yes.
So I suppose it'd be an action for not paying your rent.
Yes, dispossessed proceeding.
What are you going?
That's the one. Well, I think we lose a $50 war bond on that. And that sends that to Margaret Levy, courtesy of Lucky Strike, and a set of the Britannica. Now a question from Harold Buzzard of Elkhart, Indiana. Who listened to these storytellers? Again, I think we should get all on this. Who listened to these storytellers? I'll give you a tag line. There was a ship, quoth he. Who listened to the he, Mr. Adams?
The Wedding Guest.
The Wedding Guest, yes. It's from what poem?
The rhyme of the ancient mariner. The wedding guest sat on a stone. He could not choose but hear.
That's the one, Mr. Adams. That's perfect. Now, how about this one? Say, give me another whiskey, and I'll tell you what I'll do. Who listened to the man who said that? Mr. Henderson, Judge Wallace?
I think the bartender listened to him.
Well, you're a little too precise.
Dangerous Dan McGrew.
No, Mr. Kieran?
I think it's because the goodly crowd was there.
Face on the barroom floor.
Yeah.
That's the goodly crowd that was
A
there.
goodly crowd.
Whiskey and I'll draw the face on the barroom floor, which he proceeded to do and then fell across it.
That's right. That's very, very dramatic. It was a goodly crowd, though, as Mr. Kieran, who did the listening, and not merely the bartender. Although you may be forgiven for your partiality.
Always
Judge.
listens in my experience.
Now, here's another one. I am a rogue if I were not half sored with a dozen of them, 2 hours together. Mr. Kieran.
Well, those who listened would be probably Bardolph, Prince Hal, Tito, and a few more of the hangers-on, and King Henry IV, first part, Falstaff telling of his encounter with 7 or 11 men in buckram.
What page? That's good work. Good work, Mr. Kieran. How about this one from Constance McAllister of Arlington, Massachusetts? I guess we ought to get 2 out of 3 on this one. Differentiate the following. These are 3 kinds of funds, F-U-N-D-S. Slush fund, sinking fund, conscience fund. What's a slush fund? Mr. Henderson.
Well, a slush fund is a fund taken up for the purpose of influencing legislation, usually illegally.
Yes, used for bribing or corrupting. How about a sinking fund? Mr. Henderson, try you again on that.
Sinking fund are funds put aside for the amortization of, usually of a bonded indebtedness.
Yes, you couldn't make that any simpler for me, could you?
I haven't been able to do it for myself.
That's quite right. Mr. Judge Wallace?
Conscience fund, you want?
Conscience fund, yes.
That's when you cheat the government and get sorry for it and send them the money afterwards.
Yes.
Don't pay your taxes or pilfer something.
And, Mr. Henderson, is there a large conscience fund down in Washington or a small one?
Well, it's small in relation to all the consciences. It's relatively large in money.
Yes, that's right.
Even you and I could live comfortably on it.
Also, conscience fund is used popularly to apply to money sent by people who have sort of taken books away from a library without letting people know, and then they generally send back some money later on to salve their consciences. How about this one from John G. Espy of Los Angeles, California? Who are these people who were unable to finish what they were reading? The first one was unable to complete his reading of The Lay of the Last Minstrel. Who was that?
That's me.
I didn't ask for literary criticism. Mr. Kieran?
I didn't say who. He was reading The Lay of the Last Minstrel?
This man was reading The Lay of the Last Minstrel and never could finish reading it. He was reading a part of it. Oh, it's one of the most famous stories. Every American knows the story. No? Philip Nolan and The Man Without a Country. You remember, he reads those famous
he threw
lines.
the book overboard.
That's right. I think we all should remember that. That gives us one wrong. We have to get the next 2 right. This one never found time to get beyond the opening pages of The Education of Henry Adams. A classic by Henry Adams. Who is the gentleman who never could get beyond the opening pages?
That's me, I think.
Is that you, Judge? Well, it's the hero of H.M. Pullum, Esquire, by the well-known novelist John Marquand. Mr. Pullum never could get beyond the opening pages of that book. How about this? They never finished their reading of The Romance of Lancelot. This is a pair of people who never finished reading The Romance of Lancelot, one of the stories of Arthur and the Round Table. Mr. Kieran, I'm sure you know this.
No, I don't.
Oh, yes, you do.
Wasn't Paolo and
Why,
Francesca?
certainly it was, Judge. Your old friends, Paolo and
Francesca.
Francesca.
Mine is still working.
Working overtime. Yes, in Dante's Inferno, the lovers who were interrupted while they were reading that famous book, and they were killed by Francesca's husband. And now, before we go on to the next question, by the way, we lost a $50 war bond on that, and a set of the Britannica going out to Mr. Espy. And now, before we go on to the next question, Mr. Cross has something to say about tobacco experts and pedestals.
Well, a friend recently asked me, Cross, why do you put those tobacco experts on such a pedestal? And he added with a smile, I'm not in the tobacco business. I'm just a smoker. Ladies and gentlemen, here's what I pointed out to him. Independent tobacco experts aren't on any pedestal. They're smokers themselves. When they light a cigarette, they're looking for the same qualities of mildness and better taste you want. The only difference is that these experts, auctioneers, buyers, and warehousemen, really know tobacco from A to Z. Indeed, they must, for tobacco is their bread and butter. At auctions they attend all over the South, these experts can't help but see who buys what tobacco. And year after year, they see Lucky Strike consistently select the riper, lighter, milder leaf. Yes, Lucky Strike means fine tobacco, so round, so firm, so fully packed, so free and easy on the draw. From the smoker's own viewpoint, Mr. Fadiman, aren't these facts worth acting on?
Thank you, Mr. Cross. You've given new meaning to that familiar phrase, with men who know tobacco best, it's Lucky's 2-to-1. And now a question from Genevieve Taylor of Portland, Oregon. Now, gentlemen, suppose you were going to entertain each of these characters at the theater. What play might you be inclined to take them to see? Let's get 2 out of 3, and the first character is King Midas. What play might you take him to see?
A Fool's Gold.
Is that a title of a play?
Oh, that's an old-time play. Yes, it's way before your time.
I'm afraid it is, yes.
He's 50 years old.
It sounds right, though. A Fool's Gold would be very good. Mr. Adams.
Gold by Eugene O'Neill.
Gold by Eugene O'Neill sounds very good. Golden Boy. Or a great success of a couple of years ago, You Can't Take It With You would be a good one to take King Midas to. How about Eve, the mother of us all? And some peculiar progeny she's had, looking at this group of experts here this evening. Mr. Henderson.
One of those Greek plays, I'd think.
One of those Greek plays?
Yeah.
Which one?
Greeks had a word for it, didn't they?
What play would you take Eve to see? Well, there was a play called
The Women.
Pardon?
Take to see the women.
The Women would be very good,
First
Mr.
year you could take it to see.
The first year, First Lady. Yes. Wisdom Tooth. Wasn't there a play called The Wisdom Tooth, I think? And how about Salome? You would take her to see what play? Remember the story of Salome, Mr. Kieran?
Arsenic and old lace.
That would be very good. Or Kiss the Boys Goodbye, maybe. And now one from C. Albert Lamke of Brooklyn. Our pianist will play a song whose title contains the name of a city. You're to show that you recognize it by singing another song that mentions the corresponding state in which the city is. Let's have the first. Mr. Henderson?
Off to Buffalo, but I don't understand what you're supposed to
Well,
do.
now, you know in what state Buffalo is.
Yes.
You have to sing a song in which that state appears. The name of the state. Mr. Adams?
In old New York, in old New York, the peach crops always fly.
I'll interrupt you now and go on to the next one. Let's have the next song. Oh, let's have them all. Let's go.
And when I first met Kate was at the we just have California.
Gold.
California, here I come.
Now the third
right
class.
back where I...
Well, it's the Charleston, and Carolina Moon would be a good enough answer for that, but we did get 2 out of 3. Well, I think that's all we'll have time for. Thank you, Judge Wallace, and thank you, Leon Henderson, for your contribution to the Christmas spirit tonight. And in a few seconds, I'll announce next week's guests. Tonight, Lucky Strike has paid out 2 sets of the Encyclopedia Britannica and 2 $50 war bonds. And speaking of bonds, here's a special message for Philadelphians. 2 weeks from tonight, on Friday, January 8th, Information Please makes its second stop on its bond tour for the Treasury Department. It'll broadcast from the Academy of Music in Philadelphia, and tickets will be issued to purchasers of bonds in denominations of $50 to $5,000. Ladies and gentlemen, it's customary on Christmas Day to wish peace on earth and goodwill to all men, and to assume that all men wish the same. But we know that we cannot assume this of the Nazis. The Nazis who hate peace, who laugh at goodwill, and who have decreed that nowhere in their pagan country shall there ever be read aloud the Sermon on the Mount. that we may destroy utterly these men of evil will, buy and buy again the war bonds of your country. Next week, the Kieran Adams Levant Trio will be on hand, and to help them welcome in the new year will be our good friend, the eminent Hollywood maestro and universal linguist, Mr. Gregory Ratter. Remember, listeners, to send your letters with questions and the correct answers. Don't forget to send us the correct answers. You sometimes do forget. To information, please.
Cigarette program starring Red Skelton with Gigi Pearson, Verna Felton, our tiny singer Anita Ellis, Arthur Q. Bryan, our guest, David Forrester and his orchestra, and yours truly, Rod O'Connor. To bring you Metro-Goldwyn-Mayer's popular comedian and the star of the Raleigh Cigarette program, Red Skelton.
Thank you very much. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, and Merry Christmas to all of you.
Well, tell me, Red, what did Santa bring you?
Well, socks from my mother, shoes from my father, and shoestrings from my brother. My feet had a very Merry Christmas.
Well, speaking of gifts, here's mine to you. Did anyone give you an electric toaster?
Well, not that I know of.
Well, in case they do, this will come in handy.
Gee, a loaf of bread. You shouldn't have done it, really.
That's something. Red, in the middle of the loaf, you'll find 3 slices buttered.
No kidding. Why did you say it? How will I get it home now? Life won't be worth a nickel. Well, here's my gift to you.
Oh, gee, Red, that's swell. And it's so beautifully wrapped, too.
Now, in case you missed the news yesterday, that newspaper will come in handy. I hope you like them, Rod. I'm a little nervous tonight. Yesterday I went to Itchy's funeral. Oh, Merry Christmas there, David.
Well, Merry Christmas, Red.
Do you have a nice Christmas?
Yep, 32 neckties.
32 neckties. So you did all right with that band, didn't you?
No, I broke even. I gave 32 neckties. Oh, by the way, Red, here's my gift to you.
Gee, I've always wanted one of those. What is it?
Well, I don't know, but the price was right, so I bought it.
Isn't that wonderful? I saw Fibber McGee and Molly in the hall, and they got the same thing. Hey, here's a little something for you, David. It's an antique.
Oh, a baton.
Yeah, and it belonged to a famous bandmaster. His name's on it there.
Gee whiz. Spike Jones.
Oh, Anita Ellis, here's something for you, too.
Oh, Red, they're beautiful.
Oh, they're not very practical. They can't be washed, you know.
Oh, but they're lovely. Where on earth did you ever get the idea of putting initials on Kleenex?
In my spare time, I did it. I run 3 of them, tried to burn the initials.
Red, I don't want to rush things, but I've heard a rumor that you're giving everyone in the cast a down payment on a new automobile for Christmas.
That I am. Here's a fat little package for everyone.
Oh, boy, money.
Money? Who said anything about money? It's Raleigh cigarette wrappers.
You haven't received my gift yet.
Oh, so I haven't. What is it, one dance at the Palladium?
No, Red. It's a recording of my latest song, Toyland.
Well, swell, Anita. Let's put it on this new RCA Victrola, and we'll play it, huh? Thank you. Tonight we open the Skelton Scrapbook of Satire and we find a story in keeping with the holiday spirit. Christmas trees. Our characters are fictional. That music sounds a little that way, too, doesn't it? Our characters are fictional. If there's any similarity to persons living, they should be investigated. Chapter 35 of Beautiful Christmas Trees is entitled The Christmas Tree Salesman. When Christmas holiday rolls around the corner in Saudyville, you'll find Clem Cadiddlehopper selling Christmas trees on the same corner. After today, business is going to fall off, too. Boy, is it cold. I can't stand this winter. I wish they had winter in the summer and then it wouldn't be so cold. It's thinking like that makes great scientists, you know.
Oh, howdy, Clem.
Well, Sarah, do. Howdy doody to you. Like $1 million tonight.
Have you ever seen $1 million, Clem?
No, that's what I mean. You look like something I ain't never seen. You didn't get it. It's too fast, man.
Tell my, didn't it snow last night?
It was certainly deep. This morning I had to jack up the cows to milk them. Say, why don't you come over for the bonfire and get warm, Say, it feels good to get your feet thrown out, don't it?
Well, why don't you put on your shoes?
Ain't I got 'em on? No wonder it hurt so bad this morning when I had 'em half soled.
Clem, you are a moron.
And it took me years to make the grade.
To do about this fire, Clem? It's a dying out.
Well, I'll just get that big log over there and throw it on the fire.
Well, you can't lift that log, can you?
Who can? Military training, you can. Hey, just feel that arm. Go ahead.
What an arm. Looks like macaroni with veins.
Well, I have never been so insulted in all my life. I'll show you I can lift that log. Hey, Sarah, I got a better idea. Let's move the fire over here. Say, what did Santa Claus going to bring you? Did you tell him what you wanted yet? I did.
Oh, Clem, aren't you just a little bit too big for Santa Claus? You are an adult.
No, just a minute. Let's not spread that around. May mean what I think it does.
Well, what did you ask for?
Page 30 of Esquire in person. Boy, oh boy. Finest picture of a bird dog I've ever seen. Beautiful girls, too.
Clem, don't talk like an idiot. You know them girls, their models are just a dime a dozen.
Dime a dozen? For them models? Gee, I've been buying licorice all this time.
Me a Christmas tree.
A Christmas tree? I can't give them away. Goodness. What do you think they are, Chevrolets?
Well, then I'll just buy you a tree.
Okay.
What do they sell for?
$1,000 apiece.
Why, Clem, there ain't a chance in a million that anybody's going to pay that.
Well, in case the chance does come along, I'm going to be a rich man. No, I'm kidding. They're 50 and 75 cents.
Well, what you got for a dime?
A dime? There's no hairy broomstick, I can let you know. Hey, here's a nice one already decorated.
Well, that's an orange tree.
It is? I thought them light bulbs were a little juicy.
Don't you have a nice fir tree for Christmas?
Fir tree? What they won't think of next. Can you imagine going out in the backyard picking a dozen oranges in a mink coat? Oh, a customer.
Oh, my, what a man.
Well, all you women are all alike. You see a man that's got eyes that match and the same color hair and the nose in the middle of his face, I had some of them first.
Hello.
Well, howdy, neighbor.
What have you in a Christmas tree cheap?
Termites. What do you want to pay for one?
Well, not over 35 or 40 cents.
35, step this way, Sporty. Would you like a colored Christmas tree? Here's a nice one for $1.50.
Nope, nothing over 40 cents.
Nothing over 40 cents. How about a nice brown one here?
A brown Christmas tree?
Yeah.
Oh, I've never heard of such a thing. Is this supposed to be something new?
Oh, no, it's very old, very old. In fact, it was left over from last Christmas.
Well, here's a nice one.
Well, hello, my, aren't you a beauty?
Oh, thank you, sir, but I'm just a mess today.
Oh, no, you're not a mess.
Oh, yes, you heard her.
I don't think I caught your name.
You can call me Skippy.
Skippy, that ain't a man's name. It's a dog food.
Well, you can just call me Sarah.
Well, you can call me when you want to buy a tree.
How much is this one, dear?
$3, sweetie.
I thought.
Now, look, fella, either buy a tree or skidoo, you rinkadink you.
I'll take this one.
Okay, shall I wrap it up or do you want to eat it here? You timber wolf, you.
Well, just put it in my car across the street.
Okay, I'll put it in.
Don't be so mad. He's only trying to be neighborly.
Well, he's in the wrong neighborhood. I'll go put it in the car. I'll fix it.
Careful crossing the street, Clem. You might get hit by a car.
Not in Saudyville. People give the pedestrians the right of way. How do you like that? He stole my Christmas tree, too. Chapter 35 of Beautiful Christmas Trees is entitled Granny and Sandy. Just think, it was only yesterday that Christmas shopping was a lot of fun because everywhere grandmothers were taking their good little kids shopping. Yes, the good little kids. Because even Junior knows that Santa Claus don't like the mean little kids.
This store is really crowded.
Isn't it crowded, doing? What an inspiration, boy. What a spot to yell fire in, huh?
Junior, you wouldn't do anything naughty like that now, would you? You're kidding me.
You just keep laughing, kiddo, that's all. You take these handcuffs off me. I'll show you, boy.
Junior, now stay with Grandma.
Yes, ma'am. I won't run away because if I got lost, you would worry.
Yes, I would,
Yes,
Junior.
yes.
I'd be afraid I might find you again.
Yes, Boy, you sure does love me, don't you, huh?
I can't figure out why you're so good all of a sudden.
It's the night before Christmas and all through the house. Nothing is stirring, not even this loud.
This good behavior just before Christmas won't get you anything.
Well, what has I done wrong this year?
I'll tell you.
No, never mind. I know, and you know. But let's keep it away from Santa Claus, huh? He's not interested in these domestic problems. Besides, why make him change his list at this late date, you know? That's silly.
Here, hold these packages for a second.
Okay.
I said hold it, not shake it.
Is it a present?
No, let's not get nosy.
No, whoop, I almost dropped it.
Be careful. You don't want to break your grandfather's shaving lotion, do you?
I knew I would find out what it was.
Junior, let's go this way.
Oh, no, you don't, kiddo. I see it. Look at that. I never see so much candy in all my life. Oh, gumdrops, jawbreakers. I do believe I died and gone to heaven. Goodness, I was tired. I think I was stretching me with a arm.
Junior, stop that stretching. I see you still reaching for those gumdrops.
You know me pretty well, don't you?
Yes, I do. For touching that candy, you must be punished.
No.
Hold out your hand.
Okay. Oh, you broke my arm. You broke my arm.
Well, louder, you
broke my arm.
So Santa Claus will hear you.
You broke me. Oh, well, I guess I can hold my feelings until after the holiday. I hope Santa Claus brings me a Christmas tree this year. When are we going to see those Santa?
Junior, stop asking questions.
But why?
When I was your age, I never asked questions.
Maybe that's why you can't answer mine. But we will give you a box of Snickers anyway.
I know what. Would you like Santa to bring you a brand new suit of clothes?
What do you mean, with patch pockets and brass buttons?
Yes.
The coat with little belt in the back?
Yes.
Short pants with a nice crease in them?
That's right.
Wouldn't bother opening it, then.
Turn around and see who's looking at you.
Oh, Santa Claus. Oh, look at him. Oh.
Doesn't he look roly-poly in his red velvet suit?
Yeah, he looks just like a bloodshot blimp, don't he?
He's motioning for you to come sit on his lap.
You mean he's not mad at me? I've been pretty bad this year.
He'll overlook a few things.
A few things? Boy, I can close my eyes and see the things I've wrecked. You know, I give an inferiority complex to an atomic bomb. You know that.
Go on over to Santa. He's busy, you know.
Okay, I will run right over. Oh, I fall down. Did
you hurt yourself?
Hurt myself. I hurt myself.
Oh, bless your little heart.
Yes, bless me with a heart.
Here, let old Santa help you out. There. Now, come sit on my lap. There, are you comfortable?
Gee, ain't you soft, huh? Who built you, Simmons Mattress or somebody? My, look at that nice long beard you had. It's so soft, it looks like 5 o'clock shadow with snow in it, don't it? Boy, if I only had a pair of scissors. Not kidding, I wouldn't touch it.
I mean, what would you like more than anything else?
Well, a pair of scissors, I want.
Well, let's talk about you. Have you been a good boy?
Now, let's talk about you, huh? You're really a nice old man, you know. I have been a pretty good boy.
You wouldn't be trying to flatter me, would you?
Such an old soul, ain't you?
You been a good boy?
Well, for the past week, I will admit I have been pretty good, but it makes me sick to think about it, you know.
Well, what about the other 358 days? Well, what can Santa bring you this year?
Well, I tell you, bring me a great big Christmas tree with real lights on it, because last year we had to use candles.
You did?
Yes, the insurance company was awful nice, though. They rebuilt the house for us.
Well, tell me, don't you want something under it?
Under the tree? Well, there's a few things I would like, Santa Claus. I would like a book on how not to be prejudiced. So when I grow up, I won't have to go to war. Just because I hate someone whose skin's a little different color. Or because their beliefs are a little different from mine. And bring me the will to see my own mistakes instead of others. I'd like for you to bring me Grandma a nice book on post-war planning. Because like most people, she got a little money now, and she might be tempted to, well, pay just a little above the regular price for something that she really don't need. And don't let them get rid of the OPA, because we want our country to stay our country. We don't want it to have inflation. And if you can, I wish you could bring all the little kiddies back home from overseas. If you can, make all the people remember how much these little kids have done for us. And give them good health. Give them a good place to work. Give them good homes. And give them all transportation so that they can get to those things. I guess that's about all.
remember, we'll all be with you on every Tuesday night at this same time. Red Skelton, David Forrester and his orchestra, Anita Ellis, Verna Felton, Gigi Pearson, Arthur Q. Bryan, and yours truly, Rod O'Connor. Until next Tuesday, then.
This is Red Skelton saying goodbye now, and thanks for listening, and Merry Christmas to you all. God bless you.
And remember, listen to Hildegard tomorrow night, and the people are funny with Art Linkletter Friday night over most of these stations. Red Skelton is heard in this program through the courtesy of Metro Goldwyn Mayer. Red Skelton is brought to you by the Brown and Williamson Tobacco Corporation.
This is the National Broadcasting Company.
The challenge of the Yukon.
On King! On you Huskies!
King, the swiftest, strongest of Eskimo lead dogs, blazes the trail through storm and snow for Sergeant Preston as he meets the challenge of the Yukon. Sergeant Preston was typical of the small band of Northwest Mounted Police who preserved law and order in the Yukon during the gold rush of '98. That was the year that brought over 50,000 men swarming into the Klondike region, and the greed for gold led to frequent violence and bloodshed. But in spite of the odds against them, the force preserved a splendid record in maintaining the right. The challenge of the North was answered, and justice ruled triumphant. The bank in Dobie City was a small frame building rich in gold deposits from some of the finest claims in the Yukon. Late afternoon, two men faced Bid Miller, Dobie's banker. Guns leveled as the small man faced them defiantly.
You won't dare to shoot. The whole town would be here in 2 minutes.
2 minutes would be all we need to get out of here. Open that safe, Miller.
I'm not opening those safe doors.
What do you want to fool around for, Sam? Go on, let him have it.
For the last time. Open that safe.
You'll never get away with this.
We'll get away with it, all right. What are you waiting for? Go on, turn that combination.
That's what I call being real persuasive now, Sam.
Yeah. Maybe our friend here is sensible after all.
You'll see how sensible I am. You might carry this gold out of here, but mark my words, you'll never get away with it.
Open the doors. Lift that gold out of the safe. All of it.
Yeah. We don't want to miss any.
This is even better than you said.
What a haul this is. Wait till the boss sees it.
Any more in there?
Any more? Do you see any more?
I guess Shorty here's given us all the help we need, Tony.
Yeah, I get you, Sam.
No. Wait a minute.
You talk too much. This is just to keep you from putting some miners on our trail.
You dirty yellow skunk. There ain't a drop of red blood in either of you. I'll see them.
That's it. It'll be a long time before he can tell anything. Gather up the rest of them, folks. The sooner we get out of here, the better.
Sergeant Preston was a good 3 hours from Dobie City as he urged King on toward a small cabin standing alone in a clearing. A strong wind bit into him sharply.
On King! On you Huskies! Now, that smoke from the chimney certainly looks good. All right, King. Ho, you Huskies. Ho. That's it, fella. We'll stop in to see Mort Kramer.
Hey, what?
Hello there, Mort. How are you?
Well, Preston, it's a long time since you stopped by in these parts.
Oh, just on my way to Dobie, Mort. I thought I'd stop in for a while. How's everything going?
Well, about the same as usual. Come on in. So cold up here, I don't know how men stand it.
Well, that's the Yukon for you. As I remember it, you never did like the climate.
Yeah. You want to bring your dog in?
No, King will stay out here. We'll rest a few minutes before going on.
Sit down. Tell me what brings you to these parts. You say you're going to Dobie City?
That's right. That's gold robberies again, Mort.
Oh, yeah?
A group of men have been systematically robbing banks all the way from Skagway to... Well, that's just it. To where? One after the other.
Well, you got any information that makes you think they're around here?
Yes and no.
If I'm right, I have a hunch Dobie will be their next stopping off place.
Well, it all goes to prove I'm right. I always said it's no use banking your dust. Just puts it all in one place for the first smart crook that comes along to clean up.
Oh, I think you're wrong there, Mort. Banks are necessary up here, and it's up to the law to protect them.
Maybe I shouldn't say so, but you ain't done much protecting up to now. I mean, well, they were robbed.
You've got a point in favor of your argument, Mort. But it's my job to stop those robberies.
I wish you luck, Sergeant. They must be a mighty slick gang.
What's that?
Hey, get down your mutt. Hey, what's the idea? This is a fresh team.
What do you two want?
What do we want?
Are these friends of yours, Mort?
Friends of mine. Never saw them before.
The money, huh?
If you two stopped for grub,
Yeah,
well...
we thought we could buy some from you, mister.
Looks more to me as if you thought you could take my team. It's all right, King. Where are you heading for?
Pikeston. And if it's all the same to you, Monty, we'll march.
Where'd you come from?
Why the gun, Sergeant? They don't
These
look like...
men will have to come to Dobie with me, Mort.
Dobie? Boy, you're daft. We're going to Pikeston.
You're both going to Dobie with me and explain those bags from the Dobie City Bank on your sled.
What? Oh, say. I'd have never noticed them.
They weren't very carefully put on the sled. Two of them slipped from under that pack. All right, you two. Here, put these handcuffs on them, Mort.
No, you can't do this. He's doing it, ain't he? Now, shut up. Maybe you think your boss can get you out of this one, huh?
Maybe he better, mister.
Hey, these might be the men you were looking for, Sergeant.
Well, we'll soon find out. I imagine the banker and Dobie will be able to throw a lot of light on the subject. Get the dogs up, King.
All right, just a minute, Sergeant. I'll go to Dobie with you. It ain't every day I get a chance to watch the law working on bank robbers.
It was late afternoon as Sergeant Preston closed the doors on his two prisoners in Dobie City. And it was an excited banker who stood by, grinning triumphantly.
Yes, sir. They're the ones, all right. Made me open a safe that hit me on the head. I still got a bump. Oh, still hurts, too.
I wanted you to identify them, Bid.
Last thing I said to them was that they wouldn't get away with it. Now who's laughing, boys? Sergeant Preston, I gotta hand it to you. If it hadn't been for you, well, I hate to think of what would have happened.
It's a little too soon to hand anything to anybody, Bid.
What do you mean, Sergeant?
Well, it's true that we've got the robbers jailed.
And you've got the gold back in the bank. Seems to me that's about...
No, there's more to it than that. Much more. You see, Bid, there's someone else behind these robberies. I'm convinced of it.
Say, now that you mention it, when I swung the safe doors open, one of them said, just wait till the boss sees this.
Did they say anything else? Anything more definite?
No, that's all. Maybe you can get them to tell who it is. They're all alike. Once they get in a tight spot, they'll tell everything they know.
I've already talked to them.
No luck?
No. But they may change their minds. I'm convinced that these are the men who've been responsible for those robberies in Belle Vista, Dorston, High Top.
You're right. And they're the ones that must have killed O'Toole in High Top.
Hey, look, say, we got visitors again. Hey, well, what do you want, Monty?
I'm giving you two a chance to lighten your sentences.
That's mighty interesting. But if you're here to ask for names, you're wasting your time.
A miner's jury won't go easy on you unless you help me get the man in back of you two. You have nothing to lose and everything to gain.
You're right on one thing. We got everything to gain just by staying here waiting.
And waiting for what? You'll be convicted of robbery while your boss makes a getaway with the gold he's holding from those other banks.
Monty, we ain't talking.
Well, suit yourself. There's a chance for you to help yourself.
We'll get help, all right. And you can put this in your books. We won't be here long enough to be convicted by a miner's jury. See?
Easy to see they ain't got a brain between them. There ain't a soul in Dobie to be likely to spread the news of you two being in jail where it do you any good.
We don't need anybody to spread the news, Shorty.
All right. Come on, Bid.
Save your breath, Monty. You'll need it to explain why your jail's empty when the jury gets together.
What do you make of it, Sergeant? They seem mighty sure of themselves.
Yes. Too sure.
I don't understand it.
And there's only one explanation.
What's that?
Put yourself in their place, Bid. If you were jailed here in Dobie City and your boss was, say, over in Pikeston, what would you do?
Why, I'd try to get word to him, I guess.
You wouldn't be so sure that you could get word to him in time to get out of facing a trial that's 2 days away, would you?
No, I wouldn't. And if I was in their shoes, I'd either make sure he'd face that trial with me, or I'd break my neck seeing somebody that'd tell him to get me out of jail, or else.
And they haven't talked to anyone since Mort and I brought them in.
And yet they're so plumb sure that... Well, it beats me.
There's only one answer to it. The man we're looking for must be right here in Dobie City.
Right here? Say, who do you suppose... That must be it.
Yes, of course it is.
In that case, the only thing to do is to double the guard on the jail and make sure he don't get the chance to spring them. By golly, that's it. And when they see that trial coming up and no help from their boss,
I think, Bid, that we'll force his hand.
What?
We'll give this boss of theirs just the chance he's waiting for.
Well, I don't get you. You mean you know who he is?
No, I don't know who he is.
Well, then, you're going to take a chance on leaving the jail unguarded?
If we'd leave the jail obviously unguarded, he'd suspect the trick immediately. Remember, this is the man responsible for a string of bank robberies that he's gotten away with up till now. Well, he'd be too smart to fall for a trap like that. I'll need your help, Bid, and King.
I'll do anything I can. But I still don't see
King
how...
and I are going down to the wharf, then upstream a bit. Tomorrow morning, I want you... Early the next morning, miners thronged the streets in Dobie City. They were gathered in the cafe, in the general store, and lounging outside the frame buildings bordering Main Street. When suddenly, Bid Miller came racing from the wharf at the riverfront at the street's end.
Hey! There's a man in the river! Preston's dog's trying to pull him out!
What?
Yeah!
Man in the river!
I want to see that. Come on, Mike!
It was a stampede. Men who were hungry for excitement and entertainment raced down to the wharf, some of them already laying bets on whether or not the dog would be successful in pulling the man out of the rushing waters of the Yukon River. As Bid ran past the jail, he called to the guard.
Don't you want to see it, Clem?
Sure.
Come on, this is too good to miss. Sandy can keep his eyes on them two prisoners.
I got him right with you, Bid. I'll leave you 2-1. That dog don't make it.
The street that only 2 minutes before had been crowded with men was deserted. Mort Kramer walked out of the cafe and slipped up behind the one guard left standing outside of the jail. The man was pacing the wharf, listening intently to the wild cries of the miners. He never realized his danger till Mort was upon him.
Oh!
Now to get the keys. Good. Lady loves playing right into my hands. Now to find which one of these is it.
What the... Mort.
Yeah, it's me.
For a while there, he's beginning to worry about you.
You knew better than that. What did you think I came to town with the Mountie for?
What'd I tell you, Sam? See? Boy, will that Mountie be surprised. How'd you manage this?
Preston managed it. All right, come on. My sled's in back at the cafe.
What do you mean, Preston managed it?
Every miner in town is watching that dog of his pull some fool out of the river.
Oh, his dog, huh? I hope that mutt never gets out.
Just the chance I was waiting for.
Yeah? Well, it's a good thing for you it came up. Because if it hadn't, we'd have told enough about them robberies to hang you.
Fool, what could I do in front of Preston? Come on, we've wasted enough time. Preston might be back any minute.
You're wrong, Mort. Not any minute. Right now.
Preston.
Those keys, put your hands up.
This was a trap, you fool.
Yes, it was a trap.
But I thought...
You thought I was down at the river with the miners. That the coast was clear. I should have known when these two stopped at your cabin, Mort, that it was all prearranged. That your cabin is the hideout. But I've got enough evidence now to put you just where you belong.
Hey, Sergeant, what happened to Sandy?
That wasn't any man. Just a dummy. Somebody stuffed a suit of clothes and sent it down the river.
Did it work, Sarge? Mort!
Yes, Bid, it worked. Mort Kramer's the man we're looking for. I was standing behind the office door waiting for him. And he walked right into the trap. I think we'll find the gold from those other robberies out at his cabin.
Well, I'll Sergeant, I don't get this.
You'll hear about it in court tomorrow, Tim. Lock them all up, Bid.
Well, even if it was a dummy, you should have seen that dog of yours swimming. I never seen anything like it.
Good work, fella. Good work. Yes, with your help, another case has been solved. Upholding the motto of the Northwest Mounted Police, Sergeant Preston and the great dog King maintain the right and get their man. Don't miss their next thrilling adventure when they meet the challenge of the Yukon once again on Saturday at this same time.
On King! On you Huskies!
Challenge of the Yukon, a copyrighted feature of the Challenge of the Yukon Incorporated, brought to you every Saturday at this time, originated in the transcription studios of WXYZ Detroit. The characters and events in tonight's drama were fictitious. Bill Morgan speaking. This is the Michigan Radio Network.
The Coronet Little Show. The Coronet Little Show, presenting fact and fiction, dramatized by the Coronet Storyteller. Today we are going back to a Christmas Eve in the 19th century. O. Henry's story of the true Christmas spirit, of love and sacrifice, the gift of the Magi, will be brought to you in just a moment by the Coronet Storyteller. $1.87, that was all. And 60 cents of it was in pennies. Pennies saved 1 and 2 at a time. Della counted it for the third time.
$1.85, $1.86, $1.87.
It was still the same. And the next day would be Christmas. $1.87 with which to buy a present for Jim. Her Jim. There was clearly nothing to do but flop down on the shabby little couch and howl. So Della did it. While Della's sniffles are gradually subsiding, take a look at the vestibule below, where you will see on the letterbox a card bearing the name Mr. James Dillingham Young. The Dillingham had been flung to the breeze during a former period of prosperity, when its possessor was being paid $30 per week. Now, when the income was shrunk to $20, the letters of Dillingham looked blurred, as though they were thinking seriously of contracting to a modest and unassuming D. But whenever Mr. James Dillingham Young came home and reached his flat above, he was called Jim and greatly hugged by Mrs. James Dillingham Young. That's Della. She has now finished her cry and is looking into the pier glass, attending to her cheeks with a powder rag. Suddenly, as she stands before the glass, she pulls down her hair and lets it fall to its full length. Now, there were 2 possessions of the James Dillingham Youngs in which they both took a mighty pride. One was Jim's gold watch that had been his father's and his grandfather's. The other was Della's hair, which now ripples about her, shining like a cascade of brown waters and reaching below her knees. Her eyes are brilliant, but her face has lost its color. Nervously and quickly, she does her hair up again, slips into her old brown jacket, puts on her old brown hat, and in the twinkling of an eye, she is halfway down the stairs and out on the street. Della has a determined, almost desperate look as she sights a sign reading Madame Sofroni, hair goods of all kinds. She stops quickly, then opens the door, which leads to a flight of stairs. Della rushes panting up the stairs and plumb into the portly figure of Madame Sofroni.
Will you buy my hair?
I buy hair? Take your hat off. Let's have a sight of the looks of it.
Down ripples the brown cascade.
$20.
All right. Only quickly, please.
In a few moments, the implacable Madame Sofroni and her scissors have done the job. And And Della, minus her hair, but richer by $20, flees from the store into the street again. This time she's looking for a different store in which to buy, not to sell. At last she finds herself in a department store in the midst of a gay holiday throng. At the jewelry counter, as she longingly handles a platinum chain, she hesitantly asks,
"You did say $21, didn't you?" "Yes, that's what I thought."
This is it. This is the present just made for Jim and no one else. There's no other like it in any of the stores. She knows, for she turned all of them inside out. It's a platinum fob chain, simple and chaste in design. Della has made her mind up.
"I'll take it."
With the chain wrapped in a holiday box and clutched in her eager hand, Della finds herself again out on the street. But this time she is in such a rosy glow she hardly notices the other last-minute shoppers hurrying by, the street trio playing Christmas carols, the old gentleman who tries to sell her a holly wreath. It seems but seconds until she is back in the little furnished flat again. There's a sudden shock as the pier glass confronts her, this time accusingly. Now comes the moment of reckoning as she gazes with dismay at the short ends of her hair. The rosy glow gives way to prudence and reason. Out comes the curling iron, on with the gas jet, as she sets to work repairing the ravages made by generosity and love. In 40 minutes, she finishes with the last curl lying tiny and close to her head, making her look wonderfully like a truant schoolboy. But to Della, gazing critically at herself in the pier glass, the result is anything but wonderful.
If Jim doesn't kill me first, you'll say I look like a Coney Island chorus girl.
But no more time for reflections, physical or mental. It's nearly 7, and Jim is never late. She sits nervously waiting for Jim. Now she hears his steps on the stair way down on the first flight. She has a habit of saying silent little prayers about the simplest everyday things. And now she whispers,
"Please, God, make him not mind my hair so much. Make him think I'm still pretty."
The door opens, and Jim steps in and closes it. He has a smile of welcome on his face as he glances around the room for Della. But the smile freezes on his lips as he suddenly sees her sitting on the corner of the table. An expression comes into his eyes as immovable as a setter dog at the scent of quail. The expression terrifies Della, who is expecting anger, surprise, disapproval, or even horror. But not this look of... Della wriggles off the table and goes to him.
"Jim, darling, don't look at me that way. I had my hair cut off and sold it because I couldn't have lived through Christmas without giving you a present. It'll grow out again. You won't mind, will you? I just had to do it. My hair grows awfully fast. Say Merry Christmas, Jim, and let's be happy. And wait till you see the beautiful gift I got for you."
Della rattled on like that. But after she was all through, all Jim could ask laboriously was, "You've cut off your hair." Della tried again, this time more patiently.
"Sold, I tell you. Sold and gone, too. And it went for you, Jim. Maybe the hairs of my head were numbered, but nobody could ever count my love for you. Now, shall we have supper?"
At last, Jim seemed to wake out of his trance. He enfolded Della in his arms. And then he carefully draws a package from his overcoat pocket and throws it on the table. Nimble fingers quickly tear open the string and paper. And then...
"Oh, Jim, they're beautiful. How did you know that? They're what I've always wanted. No. My hair. My hair. Oh, Jim, how can I wear them?"
There they lay. The combs. The set Della had worshipped for so long in an exclusive shop window. Pure tortoiseshell with jeweled rims. Just the shade to wear in the beautiful and vanished hair. They were expensive combs, Della knew. And her heart had craved and yearned over them without the least hope of possession. And now Della hugs them to her and looks up at Jim with dim eyes and a smile.
"My hair grows so fast, Jim."
Then Della puts the combs down carefully, lovingly, and even more radiantly prepares to show Jim his gift. She holds it out to him eagerly on outstretched palm. The dull, precious metal gleams and glows, entirely satisfied with its own value.
Isn't it a beauty, Jim? You'll have to look at the time every 15 minutes now. Give me your watch. I want to see how it looks with the chain.
For answer, Jim sits down suddenly on the couch. Dell, he says, let's put our Christmas presents away and keep them a while. I sold the watch to get money to buy your combs. Now, how about supper? The Magi, as you know, were wise men who brought gifts to the babe in the manger. They invented the art of giving Christmas presents. Being wise, their gifts were no doubt wise ones, possibly bearing the privilege of exchange in case of duplication. And here I have lamely related to you the uneventful chronicle of two foolish children in a flat who most unwisely sacrificed for each other the greatest pleasures of their house. But in a last word to the wise of these days, let it be said that of all who give gifts, these two were the wisest. Of all who give and receive gifts, these foolish ones were the wisest. They are the Magi. You have just heard O. Henry's Gift of the Magi, which was brought to you by your Coronet storyteller. The Gift of the Magi is just one of the many interesting stories and articles in the December issue of Coronet magazine. How much do you know about Christmas? Don't be too sure until you've taken the Merry Christmas quiz in the December issue of Coronet magazine. How many reindeer does Santa Claus drive? What is the famous Christmas opera? What well-known actor plays the role of Old Scrooge on the radio? These are 3 of the 25 questions in the Coronet Merry Christmas quiz. And now, here is your Coronet storyteller with his postscript from the pages of Coronet magazine. Be sure to join us next week, same time, same station, for another story from the pages of Coronet magazine. The Curse of the Barcarolle. Remember, next week, The Curse of the Barcarolle, brought to you by the Coronet Storyteller on the Coronet Little Show. This is Mutual.
The Grape Nuts and Grape Nuts Flakes program, starring Jack Benny, with Mary Livingston, Phil Harris, Dennis Day, Rochester, and yours truly, Don Wilson. I bet you don't all know the real meaning of the word delicious, or do you? Well, I didn't until I looked it up. And it comes from 2 Latin words meaning pleasant and charm. And if that doesn't spell malty rich grape nuts, then my name isn't Don Wilson. You're as pleased as punch when you sit down to the big tempting bowl of grape nuts, now aren't you? And you're certainly charmed with that one and only malty rich flavor that's sweet as a nut. A rich, distinctive blend of sun-ripened wheat and malted barley. A flavor that just plain hits the spot. And all that wonderful whole grain nourishment you get in grape nuts leaves you with such a satisfied feeling of well-being. Yep, for a real treat, just try a bowl of grape nuts for breakfast tomorrow. You'll find it's a charmer, all right. As you know, Mary Livingston has been off the show for 3 weeks because of laryngitis. So now that she is fully recovered, We take her to her house where we find Mary and her maid, Butterfly.
Gee, Miss Livingston, you sure have pretty hair.
Well, thank you, Butterfly. Ouch. Be careful with the comb you're pulling.
Oh, excuse me. Say, Miss Livingston, was your hair always this color?
Of course. I never bleach my hair.
Neither do I.
Well, I'm glad you told me. Now, Butterfly, comb the ends into a roll.
Yes, ma'am. You know what, Miss Livingston?
What?
I think your hair is even prettier than Mr. Benny's.
Oh, Butterfly, you're just saying that. Anyway, you've never been close enough to Mr. Benny's hair to appreciate its beauty.
Oh, yes, I have. Yesterday I was over to Mr. Benny's house.
Oh.
He wasn't home, so Uncle Rochester showed it to me.
Your Uncle Rochester has no right to open Mr. Benny's safe. Now, Butterfly, will you get my blue dress out of the closet, please? Never mind. You answer the door. I'll get the dress myself.
Yes, ma'am. I'm going to buy a paper doll that I can call my own, a doll that other fellows cannot steal.
Hello, Butterfly.
Come right in, Mr. Benny. May I take your hat?
Yes, thanks. Here's my coat.
Yes, sir. Shall I take your shawl, too?
That's a muffler. Here. Now, Butterfly, will you tell Miss... Oh, here she is.
Hello, Jack.
Hello, Mary. Gee, you're looking swell, and your voice sounds okay, too.
Thanks. I feel fine now.
That's good. Say, Mary, I brought you a box of candy. Over 100 pieces in it. Here you are.
Oh, thanks, Jack. Just the kind I like. Sen.
Well, I'm glad you do. You know, it cost me extra to have it wrapped as a gift, you know.
Oh, Jack, you're so nice.
I know. Maybe I shouldn't have given it to you now. It'll make your Christmas present look like nothing.
Well, let's not worry about that now. Come on, we'll go into the living room.
All right. Is there a fire in the fireplace?
No, but we can build one.
Okay.
Gee, I haven't had a fire in here since I've been sick.
Well, there's nothing as homey as a fireplace with a cheery blaze. Here goes. First, a little paper. And throw on some kindling. And now for a log. There must be a smaller log around here somewhere. Let's see. Thanks, Mary. Hey, look, that log came from the tree that used to be in your backyard.
Yes, I know.
Gosh, Mary, look what it says on it. I love Jack Benny. Isn't that sweet?
Yeah, I remember the night you carved it there.
Yeah, it was so romantic. I'll never forget that night if I live to be 40.
Jack, if you...
Don't answer that. I know what you were...
I'll take it. Hello? Plainfield, New Jersey calling? Yes, I'll hold on. Oh, Jack, it must be Mama.
Oh, is she out on parole again?
Jack, you ought to be ashamed of it. Hello? Oh, hello, Mama. Yes, I'm feeling fine now. That's right. I was off the program for 3 weeks. What? Oh, don't worry. Jack's going to pay me. He will pay me. Oh, Mama, he is not. And where'd you ever hear a word like that? That's what Papa calls you?
Mary, tell your mother.
Quiet, Jack.
No.
Say, Mama, did you get the packages I sent? Good. But I don't want either you or Papa to open those presents till Christmas. What? Papa couldn't wait. He did? Well, Mama, call a doctor. That was shaving lotion.
Mary, what was that word your mother called me?
It starts with an L.
Oh, L.
Say, Mama, tell me what's happened at home lately.
L. Could be liar, louse. Louse isn't so bad, is it?
What? What, Mama? Cousin Harry was made a sergeant? Oh, that's too bad.
What's bad about it?
Last week he was a lieutenant.
Oh.
Yes, Mama, that was Jack's voice.
L.
Yes, he's sitting right here beside me.
L.
Mama, stop it.
What's the matter?
You can drop the L and start working on D. Say, Mama, what are you and Papa doing tonight?
D. Dough. Done.
Oh, you expect company, so you're making a fire in the living room?
Dumbbell. That starts with a D.
But, Mama, you haven't got a fireplace in the living room. Oh, there's a hole in the rug, and you wanted to cover it up with something.
Mary, hang up.
Well, Mama, I think I better... just a second, operator. Mama, give my love to... Oh, darn it, we were cut off. Oh, operator. Why did you... I don't care if my mother does drive you nuts. It's none of your business.
See, Mary, I'm not the only one that's allergic to your mother.
Oh, Jack, Mama's only kidding. She doesn't mean half the things she says.
She does, too. I never saw a woman like that. She's always hounding me.
She doesn't hound you.
Well, she's got the face for it. And let me tell you another thing. Your mother takes delight in aggravating me. Every time she calls me up, she pants me. And I never say anything about her. Well, you ought to be. Every time we talk about my mother, we get into an argument. You're right, Mary. We shouldn't argue. Let's kiss and make up.
Okay.
How was that?
Let's argue.
Oh, yeah? That was all right, and you know it. Now straighten your lipstick.
Oh, you and your wet lips. Every time you kiss me, you skid.
Now, what do you want me to do, have them retreaded? I skid. You can't say one nice thing. There's someone at the door.
That's all right. Butterfly will get it.
You can't say one thing without trying to be funny.
Oh, Jack, you take everything so seriously. Where's your sense of humor?
Sense of humor? Listen, Mary, you have no regard for my feelings. And in the first place...
Hello, Mr. Benny.
Hello, Dennis. In the first place, I only came here to visit.
Hello, Miss Livingston.
Hello, Dennis.
I only came here to cheer you up because you've been ill.
Well, this is a fine way to do it. Just because I pull a gag on you once in a while, you hit the ceiling.
I hit the ceiling?
What's going on here?
Look, Mary, when you had laryngitis, I was a constant visitor. I'm the best friend you ever had.
Do you mind if I sit down?
No, go ahead.
No, sit down, Dennis.
You know, Mary, I even brought you a box of candy, and what thanks do I get?
Well, what do you expect for a box of cents, and a kiss for every piece?
No, Mary, but the least you can do is show your appreciation.
Oh, you're having an argument.
Dennis, why don't you please be quiet?
Gee, everywhere I go, there's an argument.
Oh, where have you been, Dennis?
Home.
Now, Mary, as far as I'm concerned...
At my house, it's louder.
Dennis.
They ought to be breaking it up by now.
The argument?
No, the house.
Dennis, we're not having a fight. It was just a little misunderstanding, that's all. Now, Mary, let's not argue in front of the kid.
You're right, Jack, and especially about such a silly thing. I'm a dope.
Well, I'm a dope, too.
You want to know something?
What?
It's nothing to be ashamed of.
You should know.
Thanks. Well, I guess I'll run along now.
Wait a minute, Dennis. What'd you come over here for?
Oh, I forgot. I came over to visit Miss Livingston.
You did? Well, sit down and stay a while.
Okay. Well, guess I'll run along now.
Dennis, you just got here. What's that package under your arm?
Oh, I made a record of a song, and I wanted Miss Livingston to hear it.
Well, that's fine. We'll play it later. Oh, Butterfly, see who's at the door.
Yes, Miss Livingston?
Oh, it must be Rochester. There's my new car out in front.
That yellow one? Why, it looks like a taxi cab.
Well, it was, Mary, but it's the only thing I could get. Anyway, I converted it strictly to private use.
Oh.
If it weren't for the color, no one would know it used to be a taxi. Oh, hello, Rochester.
Hello, boss. You better hurry. The meter's running.
Well, turn it off, silly. It's only us.
Why, Jack, if you're using that taxi for your own private use, why do you have a meter on it?
He never knows when he's going to give a friend a lift.
Well, Rochester, it pays to be nice.
It pays him.
Oh, that's not the reason at all. Anyway, Mary, it's not a bad car, is it?
It looks all right.
It rides smoothly, too.
Yes, sir.
Did you ride in it, Dennis?
30 cents worth.
Dennis.
That's my raise. $5 worth of free rides a week.
Listen, kid, I give you those rides because... I give you those rides because I like you. I'm not in business with that taxi. I don't haul people around.
Oh, boss, come now.
Rochester, I told you I only give my friends a lift home.
What's so funny, Rochester?
All of his friends have trunks and live at the Union Station.
Rochester, stop making things up. And you better hurry or we'll be late for the super team. I mean, stop mixing me up.
I know what you mean, boss, but we got to go Christmas shopping.
Oh, that's right. Let's get going. I want to do my shopping while the stores are still loaded with stuff. So let's...
Oh, Butterfly. Butterfly, there's someone at the door. Butterfly, where are you? Oh, well, I'll answer it myself. Well, of all people.
I locked myself out.
Oh. Well, come in, Butterfly, and get Mr. Benny's things. He's leaving.
I got him. Never mind. Come on, Rochester. Let's go. So long, Mary.
Goodbye, Miss Livingston.
Goodbye. I'm gonna buy a paper doll that I can call my own. A doll that other... Oh, Dennis, I forgot you were still here.
Yeah, I just put my record on the phonograph. Would you like to hear it, Miss Livingston?
Sure, I would. Go ahead and play it.
Okay. Say, Miss Livingston, would you like to... Oh, well.
What, Dennis?
Never mind. Let's sit this one out.
Yes, I'd rather just listen to it.
I feel wherever I go. Too soon, too soon, I wait. Darling, I wait. Will you speak low to me, speak low to me, and soon? Will you speak low?
Rochester, don't turn the corner so fast.
Don't worry, boss. These taxicabs can really take it.
Rochester, I've told you 1,000 times this is my own private car now. It's not a taxi. Anyway, I'm going to have the color changed. It's getting to be ridiculous. Rochester, you're coming to a red light. Watch it.
I see it, boss.
Hey, Bud, mind if I share this cab with you?
I'm sorry, mister, but this ain't no...
Driver, no one's asking you. Certainly, mister. Hop right in.
Okay. Maple Avenue, driver.
Nice day, isn't it?
Yeah. How far you going, buddy?
Oh, I'm going much further than Maple Avenue. So you pay me and I'll pay the driver. That'll save time.
I wish he'd step on it. I'm in a hurry to get home.
You are?
Yeah. I don't want to miss the Fred Allen program.
What? There.
Gosh, boss, how did you reach the brake from the back seat?
Never mind. This is where you get out, mister.
Why? What happened? What did I say?
Get out. Get out.
You can't put me out of this cab. Hey, driver.
I'm sorry, mister, but you'll have to get out.
Oh, I do, hey? Well, my name is Brown, and I'm going to report you to the president of this company.
Mr. Brown, you may not know it, but you were thrown out by the president, vice president, secretary, treasurer, and star of stage, screen, and taxicab.
That's telling them, Rochester. Let's go. Gee, it sure is crowded in this store. I wish I'd have done my Christmas shopping early like I did last year. You going to buy any gifts in here, Rochester?
No, I already did my shopping.
You did? Where?
At Saks Central Avenue.
Now, let's see. I want to get something for my girl, Gladys Zabisco. But I don't know what.
Why don't you ask the floor walker?
Yeah. Oh, mister, are you the floor walker?
If I'm asked that question again, I'm going to smash somebody right over the head.
What are you mad about? I just asked you if you were the floor walker.
You see this carnation in my lapel?
Yes.
Or what do you think I am, a long stem?
Oh, then you are the floor walker.
Of course. I'm not rugged enough to be a customer. Now, what can I do for you?
Well, I'm interested in something for my girlfriend. What would you suggest?
Well, what does your girl look like?
Well, she's kind of thin and scrawny, and her hair's sort of stringy. But she really has a nice personality. She has a little turned-up nose, and she has 2 ears. And they,
Well, everybody's got 2 ears.
On the same side?
Rochester. That's the way she combs her hair. It's a large bun.
Well, I don't know what to suggest. Why don't you try our harness shop?
Oh, don't be so smart. Come on, Rochester. I'll find things myself. Let's go over to this counter here. Pardon me, miss. Is this the perfume department?
No, this is the coal
cream counter. Can I smear something on you?
No, thanks. I'm not interested in cold cream.
You know, we're short of help, so they split my week between cold cream and hot water bottles.
Oh.
3 days a week I'm greasy, and the other 3 I'm overheated.
Well, I feel sorry for you.
You know, for 20 years I was behind the perfume counter. Nothing but perfume for 20 years. Perfume.
Well, that's too bad, Miss.
Just call me Stinky.
Well, look, miss, I have to buy something for,
Hey, boss, look. Here comes Mr. Harris.
Where? Oh, yeah. Hello, Phil.
Hiya, Jackson. Hello, Chester.
Hello, Mr. Harris.
Doing a little shopping, Phil?
No, I came out here to see Don Wilson.
Don Wilson?
Yeah, he's playing Santa Claus here this year.
No kidding. Well, how'd he get the job?
It wasn't easy. He had to take off 20 pounds.
Gee, can you imagine Don being Santa Claus and talking to all the little kids, telling them about... Hey, wait a minute. Have I got a wonderful idea?
What is it, Jackson?
Let's pull a gag on Wilson. Now, Phil, you go over to the boys' department and get dressed up like a little kid.
Yeah?
And I'll go down to the women's ready-to-wear and dress up like a woman. See, I'll be your mother.
Okay, and I'll be the mean widow kid.
Boy, will we fool Don. Rochester, wait for me out in the car. And, Phil, I'll meet you in front of the toy department.
Okay. Gee, I wish Jackson would hurry up. I feel like a dope standing here dressed up like a little kid. Oh, boy, look what Jackson's missing. Hiya, babe.
Shut up, it's me. Now, come on, let's fool Don. Come on, we'll go and fool Wilson. Remember, I'm your mother.
Now, gather round, children, gather round, and I want to talk to each one of you in turn. Now, let me see. Who's next?
My little son is Santa Claus.
Oh.
My little son is Santa Claus.
All right, madam. Now, where is your little boy?
Now, where is he? Oh, Clearwater. Clearwater.
Doody, Santa Claus. Doody, Santa. Here I is, Mommy.
Isn't he a darling?
Yes, he's a cute little rascal.
Now, Clearwater, tell Santa Claus what you want for Christmas. Go ahead, don't be bad.
No, I don't want to do it. I don't want to do it.
Now, Clearwater tax saddle. Tell Santa what you want.
No, I don't want to do it.
Clearwater, take your foot out of your mouth. There. Now the other one. That's better.
Now, little boy, tell Santa what you want for Christmas.
I want some Dwight-Nuts flakes.
Christmas flakes?
Yes, my mommy and my dad, he tells me that they're toasty brown and they're sweet as a nut.
That's right, my smart little man. And they're a whole grain cereal.
You're absolutely right, Santa. Oh, how cute. Look at that nice little boy sitting on Santa Claus's lap. Such pretty golden curls he's got.
Yes, that little boy happens to be mine.
I'm not talking to you.
Now tell me, Sonny, wouldn't you like to have a bicycle?
No, I want a Dwight-Nuts flakes because they're delicious, nutritious, and not rationed.
That's right, and what else?
Well, there are basic 7 food, the kind of food my dad he wants me to eat more of.
Well. You certainly are a good little boy. You should be proud of him, Mrs. Clapsaddle.
Oh, I am. Now, Clearwater. Clearwater, say goodbye to Santa Claus.
Goodbye, Santa Claus.
Goodbye, Santa Claus.
Goodbye, Phil. So long, Jack.
Oh, darn it, he knew it. He knew it all the time.
What are we going to do now, Mommy dear?
Oh, shut up, you little jerk. Come on, let's get out of here.
always the effect that you can't take it with you. But tonight I'm going to tell you about something you can take with you and should take with you every morning of your life. That's the zippy up-and-at-'em feeling that you get when you eat the right kind of breakfast instead of one of those sip-and-run affairs. Breakfast is the stoke-up meal, you know, the time when nutrition experts say we need at least 1/4 of our day's nourishment. Well, for two grand-tasting stoke-up foods, let me just mention grape nuts and grape nuts flakes. Because the experts also agree an adequate breakfast should include a cereal with whole grain food values. And that's certainly grape nuts and grape nuts flakes for you. Both are cram full of all-around whole grain nourishment, including iron, niacin, vitamin B1, the morale-building vitamin. And good, say, wait till you taste that zesty crispness, that distinctive nut-sweet flavor. So eat a good breakfast, do a better job. And for extra swell eating, make it tempting, nutritious grape nuts or grape nuts flakes.
Well, folks, that finishes another program, and we'll be back with you next Sunday night at the same time. Meanwhile, my cast and I want to send Christmas greetings to all of you. To all of you here at home and to all of our boys and girls in the service, here and abroad. Good night, everybody.
Grape Nut Sweet Meal. Yes, you bet. The swellest new hot cereal yet.
Get Grape Nut Sweet Meal. It's a prize in the big new package, jumbo size.
A thrifty treat, you'll all admit, with the first delicious taste of it.
Yes, quick-cooking Grape Nut Sweet Meal is rich and hot and brown, with a grand roasted wheat flavor, luscious full-bodied texture, real whole wheat nourishment. Get hot Grape Nut Sweet Meal in the time-saving, money-saving new economy-size package. This program came to you from Hollywood. This is the National Broadcasting Company.
KFI, Los Angeles.
The National Broadcasting Company and its affiliated independent stations present The Pacific Story. In the midst of the fury of world conflict, events in the Pacific are taking on even greater importance. Here is the story of the Pacific and its people, whose destiny is at stake in the Pacific War. Here is the tale of the war in the Pacific and its meaning to us and to the generations to come. The Beggars of the Sea.
The watergeuzen, the beggars of the sea. That is what the Spaniards called us Dutch when we fought for our freedom from Spain more than 300 years ago. We made it our slogan, Beggars of the Sea, on guard. We have never forgotten it. We had only one hopeful saying then, the tide will turn. We have the same saying now as we sit here in the Indies, waiting for deliverance from the Japanese. The Japanese swarmed over our island. Our men went out to fight them. Some of our men will never come back. Some are still fighting in other places in the Pacific. And we are here in the Indies, waiting. The tide will turn. Yes, it will turn, as it has turned so many times since my people came out here from Holland more than 300 years ago. My people have seen the ebb and flow of this tide through all these years. For hundreds of years there was rivalry here in the Indies between the English and my people. I remember my grandfather telling the effect here when Napoleon took all of Holland in 1806. Napoleon sent a governor out here to represent him, and the English were afraid that the French planned to take the Indies. So the English sent a fleet of 100 ships from...
Yes, orderly. The navigator reports that we should sight Batavia any time now, sir. Very well. Inform me the moment a landfall is made. Yes, sir. 6 weeks at sea from Malacca. Yes, we should be very near to Batavia. We must make very sure this time, Mr. Raffles, we take our objective. Unless intelligence has reached the Dutch of our movements, we should take Batavia by complete surprise. We must not forget that this is the 3rd British naval squadron to threaten Java. The difference, Lord Minto, is that this time we have 100 ships. We've made hostile demonstrations before on these waters, but never with so many ships. I'm hopeful that our force is adequate. Look at them. Look at them out there, sir. A field of sailing vessels as far as the eye can see. 57 transports of troops and 43 men of war. We can expect resistance. We can be certain that the Dutch forces are concentrated at strategic points. But that is all to our advantage, sir. But that is not where General Sir Samuel Lackneby nor Colonel Gillespie shall attack. Nevertheless, that Dutchman, General Janssens, is wily. You hear that, Lord Minto? Land? Yes. The watch on the foretop has sighted land. Landfall? We've sighted it, sir. Land. Very well. What is our position? The navigator reports we are 12 miles east of Batavia. Excellent. We're standing in at Chilling. Yes, sir. Inform General Lackneby to prepare to land his expeditionary force at the point where the order is given. Yes, sir. Mr. Raffles. Yes, my lord. We will send our proclamation ashore to the Dutch inhabitants at once. We will also send a proclamation to the natives.
People stood on the shore at Batavia and watched 100 English vessels come up over the horizon. They had never seen so many sails and so many ships. Lord Minto and Mr. Raffles were aboard the fastest craft of all, a frigate named the Modeste. Ashore, everyone was tense and nervous. General Janssens concentrated all his soldiers at the fort at Cornelis, about 7 miles south of Batavia. My people expected the ships to start firing any minute. Then a boat came ashore with 2 proclamations from the English.
Proclamations? What do they say? Read them. What do they want?
This one is written in the Malay and the Javanese language.
Oh, it must be for the natives.
It says, the English come as friends. They expect to be received as friends by all the native inhabitants.
Yes, friends. What does the other one say?
Oh, this one says, in every period, England has been the champion and defender of Europe. France has been with equal uniformity the common enemy of all nations. Between these two, the option must be made. The extinction of Holland has left her colonies to their own judgment. If the sentiments which His Excellency has been desirous of ascribing to them should induce them to pass cordially under the British dominion, he offers friendship and protection during any contest with those who would adhere to France. And it's signed Lord Minto and countersigned
On the very same day of these proclamations, General Sir Samuel Lackneby's English expeditionary force landed at Chilling. No one there opposed them. And 5 days later, the British took Batavia without firing a shot. But blood was spilled at Cornelis. Much of it. A deserter from the French forces led the English soldiers by a bypass to the place where the...
Devil, we are getting very close to their picket line. I should think we are. We've been marching for hours in the dark. Turn this way. Look out for yourself. I tell. Not so loud. Keep up back there. No stragglers. We must not be discovered or... Oh, there you are! It's the picket line. Down. At once, to be recognized. Don't move. We're discovered. We can't stay here. Deploy men. Deploy. They open fire on us. Forward. March.
The blood flowed that day. They say that 4,000 Dutch and French soldiers were killed or wounded. The English lost 500. General Janssen surrendered, and the Indies passed under the dominion of Britain. For 5 years, then, Britain ruled the Indies. Then at last the Dutch commission came out from the Netherlands to take over the Indies once more. There was rejoicing, but also planning, and thinking for the future, for the Indians.
We have seen the trend of events. We must now strengthen our position.
Oh, better it is that we make ourselves strong here in the Indies, then try to be strong throughout the Far East.
Our trading posts in British India have been unprofitable.
Then I say give them up.
Give up our post in British India?
In exchange for them. Perhaps we could induce Britain to give up her post in the Indies.
England might listen to this.
Britain might give us Bencoolen in Sumatra and perhaps the island of Billyton.
If there is such a possibility, let us then open negotiations with Britain. It may be possible to work out an agreement.
For years, we and the English had been rivals in the East, and at last, in 1820, we sat down to talk it all over. We talked of many settlements, but the English would not give up Singapore. So the negotiations broke off. But in 1823, we sat down again, and after long discussions, a treaty was signed providing that...
Britain relinquishes all claims on Sumatra.
Holland relinquishes all claims on the Malay Peninsula.
Britain is to have a free hand on the Asiatic mainland.
Holland is to have a free hand in the islands.
Money poured from the Netherlands Indies into the Dutch treasury. The natives were exploited by the government. Their wages were low, and they had too little time to work on their own crops. The soil was exhausted. The natives were neglected in their misery, and in many cases the officials were corrupt. Famine came. The natives cried for food, and then the voices of men crying for reform started to be heard. There was Dr. W.R. Baron van Hoovel, who had been a preacher in the Indies for 10 years. Dr. van Hoovel took the part of the natives.
True state of affairs here in the Indies is now becoming known in Holland. Until now, the public in Holland has been kept in ignorance of the situation here by censorship by the government of all news and reports. This must stop. The first consideration of the government policy should be not how much Holland can get out of the East Indies, but how much it can do to raise the material and intellectual interests of the Indies. I propose to lead a movement for a free press, free of government censorship, and for representation of the natives in the States General.
Dr. Van Hoovel?
Yes?
You are aware that you are not being very circumspect.
This is no time to be circumspect, sir.
You are here in the Indies at the sufferance of the Crown.
I am here to improve the lot of the people, the natives as well as the Dutch.
Return passage to Holland might be arranged for you, Dr. Van Hoovel, so that you might preach your reforms where your thoughts could get a more appreciative audience.
Dr. Van Hoovel was obliged to resign and return to Holland. The need for reform was great. Then Douws Dekker came out here. He was a government official. He had served in the Moluccas for a number of years, advancing from one position to another. When he was transferred to Java, he had only been there a few weeks when he began to protest against the abuses. His superior called him in and cautioned him and threatened to dismiss him. He gave up his appointment and went back to Holland. And there he wrote a novel that he called Max Havelaar.
This book, it is more than a novel.
No man could write so forcefully about anything unless he knew it very well.
Yeah, but who is this Multatuli who has written the book? A native of the Indies?
That is a pseudonym.
Someone else has written it.
Most certainly. The hero of the novel is a Dutch official in Java, Max Havelaar, and he describes his own experiences.
Yes. He writes of the faults of the colonial policy and the vices of the administration.
He does not seem to understand that he is endangering his own head. Yeah, this is the work of one who has lived in the Indies.
Oh. You have any idea of who it is?
I have. Douws Dekker.
Dekker's book, Max Havelaar, was something like Uncle Tom's Cabin. It told of oppressed people and exposed the abuse of free labor. And in the end, it stirred the people of the Netherlands to reform. After this, our Dutch civil officers here in the Indies became the best colonial administrators in the world. But before this came about, the government had first to extend its control throughout the Indies. For many years, we Dutch had little control in the Indies outside of Java. Our empire in the Pacific is the work, really, of the last 100 years, and much of it is the work of the last 40 years. And one of our most difficult tasks was Achin. Achin is on the northwest tip of Sumatra. When Britain gave up Sumatra to us, and we gave up Malaya to her, then Achin came under the Dutch flag. But there were years of bloodshed before there was peace in Achin.
Word has just reached us that fighting has again broken out in Achin.
Again? General Van Herpt, we have been carrying our warfare with Achin for more than 30 years.
The pretender to the throne of the Sultan has run away to the island of Gaios.
There must be some way we can pacify Achin. After all, it is only a small kingdom.
All its terrain, its mountains and valleys favor the natives.
I thought we had done with fighting in Achin last year.
Achin has cost the Netherlands nearly 200,000 troops and nearly $200 million in these years of fighting.
200,000 men? $200 million?
It has been a tremendous price. To pacify these people, we must understand them better.
General Van Herpt, we must learn to deal with the Sultan. They are the run.
No. You recall the Sultan who guaranteed immunity from piracy to our traders?
Yes, I recall.
The Achinese pirates continue to take our ships.
Yes, but the Achinese understand us better than we understand them. They know our ways and our thinking. We have thought so much of putting them down that we have not thought of understanding them. We must remember they are Muslims. They are brave, and they have a great love of freedom. And for this they have been fighting these many years. It is possible that there may be a more effective weapon against the Achinese than arms.
It is my suggestion, General Van Herpt, that we organize an expeditionary force to go into Achin and once and for all...
We have tried that for more than 30 years, and it has cost us dearly. We will restore order in Achin, yes. But this time we will do more than that. We will seek to lay a foundation on which we can build a more permanent...
And that is what Governor General Van Herpt did. The government brought in experts in Muslim and Indonesian society and psychology. And with this knowledge, at last, after 35 years of fighting, peace came to Achin. Ever since our earliest days in the Indies, we have governed through the native rulers. Each of the native rulers has a Dutch civil officer as an advisor. These advisors are called the elder brother of the native rulers. Both the elder brother and the native ruler are paid a salary and an allowance for entertaining. The potentates are of the native nobility, so the great masses of natives feel that they are ruled by their own people. And the Dutch Indies are the most densely populated place in the world, and 50 million of these live on Java and Madura. These people are Indonesians, Chinese, Japanese, Arabians, and a scattering of many other people besides the Europeans. For hundreds of years, these people have been intermarrying. So today, the problem of minorities is one of the most important of all the problems in the Indies.
I have been an official of the Netherlands for many years. When the Dutch first came to the Indies, we saw little prospect of bringing enough Dutch women out here to colonize. Many Dutchmen and other Europeans married native women. This explains the great number of Eurasians, persons with mixed European and Asiatic blood. And it also explains the relative lack of race prejudice in the Indies. Eurasians have held many high positions in the government and business, but also many of the Eurasians have had to fight for their existence. The Eurasians, with the Chinese, form the middle class of the Indies. The Chinese have had great influence in the establishment.
My people came here to the Indies even before the Dutch. I am a Chinese. There are 1.25 million Chinese in the Indies. Our chief interest here has been trade, but some of my people work in the tin mines and on the great plantations. Although my people have been here for centuries and have intermarried with the Indonesian women, we still remain Chinese. Our Chinese language was lost here in the first generation, but we still retain our family life, our religion, and our customs.
Like the Arabians, we have clung to the tradition.
I come from another of the great racial groups of Indonesia. I'm an Arabian. For centuries, my people have had to try to find a living outside of Arabia. Many of my people came here to the Indies before the Dutch and the Chinese. We brought our religion with us, and this we have kept throughout these centuries. We have intermarried with the native women, but we are still Arabians.
There is another people who have been important in the Indies, the Japanese. The Japanese came to the islands, but in smaller numbers. They did not come as the Chinese and the Arabians came. The Japanese came for the oil and the tin and the rubber of the Indies. They came to prepare for the day when they would use these things against the rest of the world. Japanese businessmen and fishermen and photographers were everywhere. I remember watching them and wondering as I recalled what had happened years ago at Singapore. 2 of our Dutch officials were invited to a dinner given by the Dutch Foreign
Just that Japanese down there at the far end of the table. Who is he?
He's a naval officer off the Japanese warship Congo.
There's something very familiar about him.
No, I was thinking the same thing.
Have we seen him before?
Oh, the Congo has never been to Batavia.
No, but probably that officer has.
That may be.
Tell me, did you ever issue a permit to a Japanese who looked like him?
I may have.
Wait till he turns full face toward us again.
There. I know. I gave him a concession for rubber culture and deep sea fishing on those 2 small islands, Awi and Momoy.
That's it. And some months later, I went out to the islands to see how he was coming along. Remember?
I remember.
I found no trace of either rubber culture or fishing. But I found that same Japanese sounding and charting the borders around both Awi and Momoy. That's the same man there that made...
That is the way it was here for years. We knew what was happening, in a way, but we did not know how serious it was. We learned. On May the 14th, 1940, Hitler invaded Holland. You know what happened there. Holland was crushed and occupied, and we, here in the Indies, were left alone. We knew the Japanese had their eyes on us, but our people here, all races and classes, joined in our war effort. They were loyal, but they still asked for constitutional changes. In our Volksraad, the Volksraad is the People's Council, they asked for political reform, and these they debated long.
The Netherlands have fallen under the Nazis, and we of the Indies stand alone. No help can be forthcoming from the Netherlands to support us against a possible enemy in the Pacific. We must depend on ourselves. We therefore petition that this Volksraad be changed into a full-fledged parliament, that we who will live under the laws make these laws.
I thought that would come sooner or later. I don't think they'll get it, though. It's been my observation over a number of years that the natives are moving closer and closer to a parliamentary setup.
He's going to speak again.
We further petition, since the Indies have virtually become a self-sustaining entity, that the name of our country be changed from the Netherlands Indies to Indonesia.
A new name for the country. I hadn't expected that. That would involve all sorts of complications in the...
It is the belief and conviction of my people that an Indies citizenship should be created to be conferred upon all persons, regardless of race, who have reached a certain state of development.
Indies citizenship? Why, that's revolutionary. I have an idea that a great many people would support this, even Europeans.
These ideas were straws in the wind, but the government said that it could not support them. We were at war, and our mother country was occupied by the Nazis, and we ourselves were in danger of attack. Everyone worked, all but the Japanese. Many of the Japanese businessmen turned out to be spies and military officers. We recall that just before the war broke out in Europe, many of the 7,000 Japanese in the Indies had sailed back to Japan. And now we knew that they took with them all the information they had gathered through the years. Yes, we knew that we must work, and work hard to prepare for the blow that we were sure would come from Japan. We needed planes, and we needed guns and ships and supplies of all kinds.
Bombers and fighter planes from the United States are flowing into the Netherlands Indies in ever-increasing numbers. 17 months ago, the Indies Air Force had 175 old planes. Today, it has more than 1,000 modern warplanes, and more are flying in. Chassis for armored trucks are pouring in from the United States. Machine guns, machine tools, factory equipment, and shipbuilding tools are coming in by the boatload.
Steel for 4 10,000-ton warships has been bought in the United States. The Dutch Indies Navy is being expanded every day from its 2 cruisers, 4 destroyers, 12 submarines. And more Netherlands Navy ships that escaped from their home country are expected.
Construction crews are working feverishly, setting up air bases, building air raid shelters, erecting barbed wire entanglements on the beaches and around the airfields, and putting in emplacements for coastal batteries.
There was little time to get ready. In September 1940, less than 3 months after France was crushed, and while the German air raids were blasting London, a Japanese commission came to the Indies. They came to make demands for oil and rubber and tin. They came at a time when they thought the Nazis would bomb Britain and the Netherlands government in London into surrender. They made big demands, for they thought that if they stayed long enough, they might gain all they wanted in the Indies and more without having to fight for it. We negotiated. We used the time to get ready. London withstood the blitz and did not surrender. And the Japanese went home without what they came for. But we knew then that they would not be long in coming back. The first blow came like the strike of a cobra. I remember the day they reached Java. My husband came running in. Look.
Marika, where are you?
Here, Peter. Here I am.
Oh, Marika.
I thought you would never come back, Peter.
Only for a moment, Marika. I had to see you. The Japanese have landed up the coast. They are swarming the shore.
Nearly everyone has gone here. I had to wait for you.
My Marika.
It seems that bombs have been falling here for hours.
Flyers have been fighting them until they had no more ammunition or gasoline. Coming down for more, going up and coming down, again and again, until they themselves were shot down. And the Japanese keep on coming.
I have never seen so many bombers.
They are bombing Batavia and Samarang and Surabaya. They've landed on Borneo and Sumatra. Now they are on Java. We've blown up all the oil wells, every one of them. But they're bringing more and more supplies into transports. Our airplanes are bombing them everywhere, but they keep on coming.
Then they will soon be here.
You cannot stay here, Marika. You cannot. Yes. It is my lieutenant, Marika.
Must you go so quickly?
I wanted to see you again. Marika, you must leave here. You must go down to...
Peter! Van Holloman!
Go, Peter. Go.
My Marika.
I shall be waiting for you, Peter. I shall be waiting. Peter will never come back. The Japanese are here, all around us. We are the watergeuzen, the beggars of the sea. We sit here waiting, but our slogan is still, beggars of the sea, on guard. We sit here waiting for deliverance. We know that someday the tide will turn.
Out of the war, the Indies have emerged as a nation. Every phase of life has changed. The Indies have become more economically independent of the Netherlands than ever before, and the old dependence may never be restored. The will for mutual appreciation and tolerance among the peoples of the Indies, the Dutch, the Indonesians, the Chinese, and the many other peoples, the will to have a voice in their own destiny, are keystones of the new country that is arising.
You have been listening to The Pacific Story, presented by the National Broadcasting Company and its affiliated independent stations as a public service to clarify events in the Pacific and to make understandable the cross currents of life in the Pacific Basin. A reprint of this Pacific Story program is available at the cost of 10 cents. Send 10 cents in stamps or coin to University of California Press, Berkeley, California. The address again, University of California Press, Berkeley, California. The Pacific Story is written and directed by Arnold Marquis. The original musical score was composed and conducted by Thomas Peluso. The principal voice was that of Yana DeLose. This program came to you from Hollywood. This is the National Broadcasting Company.